Hello and welcome to part 4. As you can hear, I added music. I'll post what I've been using down in the description, but my YouTube channel is so baby that I'm not allowed to post links. I think I have to verify something, or I don't know, something's holding me back from letting me post links in my YouTube descriptions, but I'll at least post like the names. Most of them are on YouTube anyway, but in case someone wants to use ambiance for their podcast, because it's nice to have that sound in the background. We have the highlight and our lowlights at the end. It's really long because we started going on a lot of rants, but then we were also trying to combine last session and this session's highlights and lowlights together. And then bloopers at the end. So enjoy the show. Okay, I'm here now.
Awesome. Alright, so you are finally at the gates, which is where, as you come to this precipice, everything else was weird, right? Everything was weird and wacky as you're on your way here. And that's when the moment you start taking a step in to this place, that's when you kind of get this vibe.
The Minecraft music vibe?
Yes,
The
but it's like
tranquility?
overly serene, is how I would describe
Is
it.
it like fake almost?
Kind of. That's kind of the energy you get. Yeah, you come in and
Or artificial, I should say.
Maybe that's a good way to describe it. But as you come in, you the guard looks at you and is watching, but you don't get asked for a toll to come in, and you step in, and the roads are pretty clean. And for a small backwoods village that used to be popular but is not anymore, it's surprisingly well maintained. There's the buildings are fine. It doesn't look run down at all. People are going about their day in a generally perfect sense of peace with one another. There's no clouds overhead. It's just nice. That's sort of the energy you get, and the people around they seem happy as they go about their business. Everyone's sort of light smile on their face, going about their day, but no one seems to really be directly paying attention to you.
These people have bodies in their basements.
What do you do?
Is everyone healthy? Meat on their bones? And
Yeah, generally. Same sort of situation with the farmer guy.
Mhm.
They're not emaciated. They're not American obese. They're not living it up, life of luxury. But
they're healthy.
No one's here going hungry, kind of
Okay.
deal.
I guess what I'd like to do is find the friendliest person, which I'm sure you're going to tell me is everyone. And I would like to ask them if I get extra if I can find the most magically looking one. Or intellectual one, and ask hi, I'm from
You don't want the random bumhick telling you where you can get magical things.
No. I'm looking for a mage. I heard that there was a mage here that could help with his knowledge. Their knowledge, I don't... Was it? I think Falcon said he.
As you're doing your thing, and you're looking, you find someone to talk to, and you just find a general person. You just said whoever seems the nicest, right?
Whoever seems the most magically or smart.
Out of either of those options, you're going to see sort of robe-wearing, staff-wielding person, and they're just sort of coming down the road.
Perfect. Excellent.
And they're just gonna kind of...
Excuse me. You with the staff there.
They pause, and they turn around and go, yes.
I was looking, I heard that there is a mage with certain knowledge about curses that lived here. Would you happen to know where he lives? It's
yeah.
me!
I happen to, yes. She goes, yes, they live on the southeast corner of our little town. You have a compass at the bottom left of your map. And I will also assume your character has a compass.
What?
Southeastern corner of the town. Their house is, more unique than the rest, so you could probably find theirs.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, of course.
Have a blessed day.
They leave. And as they leave, see my light?
Yes.
Roll me perception.
Oh no. Did I just get fucking played?
No, I just wanna.
It is. Where's my perception? 13.
Okay. With a 13, you'll notice in this window someone watching you.
What do they look like?
They are a well-dressed human man. I'm talking like big puffy fur coat, kind of well off. And when you look up, they sort of just like pick up a cup, sort of sip from it, and seem to just go immediately into like, oh, I'm
enjoying my morning
town.
coffee.
Yeah.
I will acknowledge that. If he kept staring, Wynn would stare back. And I would like to head to... Well, actually, what's going on in this town square?
Everyone's killing each other.
Whoa! I want to be a part of it.
No.
Actually, no. I rolled 2 nat 1s yesterday. I don't want to...
No,
I wanted to look at the market.
Okay, yeah, you go into the market, and what are you looking for? Anything pretty...
I would like to see if there's anything, like, different. If there's anything that, like, piques our interest, like, that's not something in Eleanor.
Like, okay. Roll me. Well, okay, what are you looking for? Are you looking for hot girl shit, useful girl shit, or, like...
Hot girl shit and interesting stuff.
What do you define as interesting stuff? And what is your price range?
Price range, I think, will be max 50 gold.
Okay.
And... Interesting? I guess interesting and useful we can go together. It doesn't have to be... If it does something cool, but not
Useful?
not useful, unless it's a very specific situation, I'd take that. I just think as long as it looks appealing. If it looks expensive, but doesn't really...
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Kurt.
Okay.
As the kids say. I say as I'm then shot, dead.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
You see a man selling handcrafted pipes.
Pikes?
Pipes, like
For, like,
smoking
smoking?
pipe.
Oh, okay.
And you see, he's standing very proudly in front of his display of all of these lovely little pieces of work, and they're made from woods that you can't name and can't recall, embroidered or like adorned with bits of metal that you also, like, you think they might be iron or steel or something, but something about him seems a little off. And you see he's there talking with a customer, and he's like, you know, talking with a pipe in his hand, and he takes a
hit
of the pipe, and then as he lets it out, you see the smoke comes out as like a small eastern dragon.
A dragon?
Yeah, and you see it kind of like snakes through the air for a minute before it dissipates into a normal puff of smoke. And then and out comes like 2 like tigers playing with each other for a minute before they also become just a thing of smoke. And you know, you only see it from a distance, like you can't hear what he's talking, but he's like seems to be talking to a customer and showing him something.
Can I come closer so I can listen?
Yes. Are you just trying to eavesdrop? Or are you like?
No, I'll look at what he has to sell.
Yeah, and you hear him talking, and he's explaining that his pipe is the top of the line of the best pipes. Not only do they do these fantastical things, it feels like an infomercial. Kind of him like being like, oh, ours burns. Ours assists the burning process of I think in D&D they just call it smoke weed. Or
Daniel, that's a verb and a noun.
Weed. I think it's called pipe weed. I think he's like oh, smoke leaf.
Smoke leaf?
Yes.
Just like in RimWorld.
That's RimWorld. I might be confusing. I think it's like pipe leaf, and it's like a halfling thing. But anyways, he's like, it helps your pipe leaf burn at the perfect temperature and at the perfect speed, so you don't burn through it faster than you need to. Our pipes filter the smoke as well, and as it comes in, it's a smoother feeling that doesn't burn or itch the throat. As it fills your lungs, it is the silkiest experience as it comes out, and on top of it, you get a little extra effect on top.
A little extra effects. Can she say that?
Yeah, and then he's gonna smile and then as
he vapes in my face.
Basically, and he like blows it towards you, and out comes two eagles that are like flying in a spiral with one another before right before they hit your face, they like fly up and then they into a normal thing of.
Oh, he just means the.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. She could smoke weed with that.
Yeah.
She's not against getting plastered.
Yeah, and then he's going to kind of just like gesture at his display, and he goes, "We have different levels of craftsmanship here. For the lower end of the spectrum," and he's gonna go and he shows you. They all look like normal woods. Mm-hmm. Maybe like an oak or like probably the fanciest that they have there is like a deep, dark, kind of mahogany-looking one, and he's like, these are gonna do the filtering, not as well, but get the job done. Fine craftsmanship. One of these could last you a lifetime. And then he's gonna be like, along with that, the woods that we choose imbue a little bit of extra flavor into your smoke. A little bit more nuttiness, or a little bit like
nuts in my weed.
Alright, we're no longer doing a duet. I'm out of here.
I no longer want to have business with you.
Correct. And as he goes up in the scales, you get more of the features, and that's when you start getting to the weirder and weirder woods. Uh-huh. And you notice the pipe he has that seems to be his. It is this pure bleach white wood, almost like ivory. But you know how wood has the rings and those stripes of different colors in it? His, instead of being stripes of different color of wood, they seem to be different stripes of color of silver and cobalt. So it's these silver and blue, deep dark blue, wood rings and wood texturing all up this wood, and then the bands, he has these bands of metal around certain parts, and those are this embering gold kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. How laid back and or salesman-y is this guy?
What do you mean? Salesman-y as in the
I'll do anything to get your money? Or laid back as in I'm smoking weed right now and I do this all day, so...
It seems a little bit of a mix. You get the sense he's more on the line of I'm smoking weed right now, and I am a master in my craft, so I appreciate the fine details of everything that I have added to each individual piece, kind of.
Because I would like Wynn to say along the lines of, how could I word this? Because she does not mean it rude, in any rude intention, but I wanted to say something along the lines of,
By the way, also, I just want to add on to this, he also has, those... Just because I don't know what material girl type of stuff Wynn's into, but they have, also the, Roaring 20s, very long cigarette holder things.
Oh, yeah!
And they have all of the... they have just different kinds of pipes and, smoking utensils, I guess.
Smoking accessories.
Yes.
But I want
we sell smoke and smoke accessories.
To be well, I'm sure you are a master at your craft, but being a salesman, you should also know that I'm a bit skeptical without getting a little test drive.
He's gonna go, well, it's great for you, little miss, because we have a few that you're able to
That's
test.
Not little, I'm just kidding.
We have plenty that you are able to take a test smoke with, but you do have to bring your own pipe weed.
Can I say I have some?
Do you have some?
No. I have hemp rope.
Are you trying to steal?
No, I don't want to steal it.
I'm so confused.
I want to make sure that it, the filtration is smooth as he says it is.
Okay. He's like, alright. And he is going to show you the displays. And so what are you looking to try? And he's, it's 5 or 6 different tiers of fanciness, and of course the one that he's smoking out of is the highest tier. The The lowest one, again, seems to be made out of normal materials.
Mm-hmm.
And he claims only gives, like, a good
No, don't even
scrubbing
talk
of the
to me. She
smoke.
wants the one that's the most expensive.
So she's immediately going to skip to the tippy top?
Yeah.
Okay. Describe to me some, like...
Extra points if it's, like, green and
Okay.
gold.
Okay.
I think that's the colors I have for her, mainly green and gold.
Okay, because I was going to ask, if Wynn was given all the money in the world to make her, like, her hoe mansion,
Yeah.
how would she design it? You said green and gold?
Green and gold are the colors that I like for her.
You see a pipe. Now describe the kind of smoking apparatus that you would want. The Roaring 50s long one, the classic, like, Sherlock Holmes, like, ooh, kind of thing, like, the stick with just a little bulb at the end.
I think something longer and thinner, like a I don't know what the era, but like a smoking thing, except that it is just like flute, basically, so that way once the smoke comes to you, it's nice and cool and...
So, we'll say,
I don't smoke, so I don't...
So, that long, and we'll say, like...
It has a little bit of tipper. Uh-huh.
And then, at the end, just, like, a tiny little... dish to put it in.
Yeah.
And maybe it's even, like, oval, kind of, just to be, like, different. Okay. Yeah, you see one that just kind of jumps out at you.
The gold mouthpiece.
Is that what you call it? Oh, like at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it has a gold mouthpiece, and the end is a tiny little ovular gold bowl to put your smoke leaf into. But the wood, the stick, is this... I'm going to make her even more excited for this. It's the shaft of wood is, like, carved, and it has, like, sylvan runes all along it. And it is made out of a wood that is... It's clearly wood. However, it's transparent. It's transparent green, and it is literally called emerald wood.
Oh no.
And he takes it and he flips it around and he offers it to you.
Yes, she'll take it.
All
She'll try it out.
So you're having...
Before she's like, do I have to do anything special to get the animals, or does it just do that?
Oh, just kind of pucker your lips a little bit more when you blow it out and kind of think of what you want it to look like.
She's gonna think of a fox.
Okay, so what are you putting at the end of it? What are you lighting?
Well, if it's hemp rope, it'd be hemp. People smoke hemp, right?
Not the same kind of hemp, but
Shut
I mean,
the
if Wynn's
fuck up.
stupid, sure.
Listen, no, she's not stupid. It's just I don't have it in my inventory because I wouldn't think I'd need weed this soon into the campaign.
Would you like to just spend a little bit of money and say she bought it before she left?
Sure.
Alright, I'm gonna say... Alright, back to being material girl. Is she buying the dollar store kush or the good kush?
She's buying the good stuff. Don't even ask me.
5 gold pieces for, we'll say, like... How would you measure fancy designer weed?
I think they would measure it by the gold coin, by, like, the ounce, you know? No, that'd be way too late.
But I'm trying to think about, like, how... If you're paying 5 gold pieces for this, like, how do you measure uses? Is it, like, a day's worth?
I wouldn't be mad if you said if it was 3 hits or 5 hits, around there.
Okay, we'll say it's a gold piece of hit, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, you have some on you.
I'll hit it.
Alright, and you put it in, and as you're putting it in, he goes, also, once you get to the middle tier, we also have another function, you know, lighting can be a pain in the ass, especially if you're on the road. And he just takes his thumb and he just presses it down on the gold ovular bit, and he holds it there for a second, and you see all of the runes sort of, like, flash with color for a minute, and he pulls his thumb off, and it's singed and cindering.
You're gonna make this so expensive.
It's the point of your character, so...
I know. Okay, and then she'll breathe in, and then breathe out, and she'll think of the fox.
And as she does, the smoke comes out in just a plume, a normal basic plume, and it sort of rolls before kind of condensing back into the shape of a fox that kind of just runs off for a moment before it just turns back into smoke.
Oh my god.
And to be the testing of the filter and stuff, it is everything he said. It is.
This is everything you said it was.
And
more.
I may be a salesman, but that doesn't immediately make me a liar.
How much?
For that particular one, it'll be about 500 gold pieces.
I only have 244. She doesn't say that. She doesn't say that.
And he's gonna go.
She never lets on the air that she's poor.
He's gonna explain. It is 500 gold pieces. However, that's 500 gold pieces if you're gonna be sticking around town, because it does require a little bit of maintenance from me every once in a while to keep the magic going. So if you're going to be leaving and you want it to continue to operate, I will have to do a little bit more work to make sure it will last while you're out on the road doing the thing. So it might raise the price to a tentative 700 gold pieces. Emerald wood is quite particularly difficult to work with, so it might be a little bit higher than that.
Well, I will definitely think about this.
Mind you, 700 gold pieces is probably enough to buy a small house, and
it's enough to buy this thing in her hands right now. She doesn't care about no fucking house right now, Daniel. She can't think that far ahead.
I forgot, someone explained it. It's like 1 gold piece is roughly like a week and a half worth of money for a working person.
When's no working person?
I'm just saying.
Just gonna say, you're making it very hard for me to put this down right now and say no, but I do have to think about it. That is a bit of an investment for me.
And he's gonna nod. He's gonna be like, how much are you gonna be thinking about it?
I'm in town.
Should I put it aside for you?
Yeah, I'll be in town for a few days.
And he's actually going to pull out a box that is made out of, it's like a silver ingot that has been cut off, hollowed out, and then filled with, a velvet material.
Yes.
With, a hinge, and he opens it, and he just takes it and just slips it inside, and he actually wraps it up with, a lovely silk bow, and then, he takes out a quill and he goes, your name, so I can keep this reserved for you.
Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see this, but she is looking for her book of fake names.
Alina Hayes.
Alright, he scribes that on down, he, dots it, and, he shows you the silver bar, and then it just vanishes. And he goes, it will be waiting for you, although we do hold things only for a limited amount of time. So if you don't decide on purchasing it within the week, I will put it back in the display. But if you come back and still show interest, I would be more than happy to keep it aside for a week longer.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. That was lovely. I'm crying on the inside.
She's like, give it to me
When
now.
he was like $500, she sucked the smoke in a little too hard.
He will say, now, if you're also looking for high quality smoking now, our lower end is on the more affordable side. We have our cheapest is 20 gold pieces in our lowest tier, but I would jump for the 50 gold pieces, and he's showing it. It's right before the second tier.
Honey, I don't do lower quality.
And he's like, if I was just offering something to keep you until you've made your full decision. You could always sell it to someone else for a slightly lower price when you're done with it.
She'll put her hand on his wrist. I've made my decision. But now we're gonna go, and we're gonna go to this cursed wizard, and we're gonna... Is that guy still staring at her? I feel... This map is...
This guy.
This square seems close to the house. Where's my tail spire? The square seems close to the house. Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking over the marketplace, and perhaps he's looking at you. You can't tell.
Okay, well, I am...
Is there any... Would you like me to find anything else interesting for you to pop in?
No, because if she wants this... Because I have things to sell off.
You hear, elven leather boots for sale.
No, don't say that. You're just...
Elven leather boots
You're just being a fucking
dickhead.
dickhead.
Best boots this side of the Daniel can't make up a landmark.
Don't say that. You don't mean that. I still have an impressive amethyst this cursed wizard can have the Sylvan ring box if he really wants it. Oh no, I still need it for the puzzle. I really like this purple chain now that this little Toon Knight came out of it. And I also have the War Cleric's insignia, like, totem thing that's emerald. No, you said rubies, right? I think you said rubies. I feel like rubies,
Yeah.
blood,
No,
War
we'll do.
Cleric.
No, we'll do. No, we'll do. The necklace won't be your nat 1. We'll change that, we'll retcon it. Because you want to keep the necklace, and I need you to keep the necklace for Robit to stay with you.
Yeah.
We'll say what you're cursed with is you can't get rid of the box.
Man.
That's
Tux knew how to open it, but Wynn didn't know how to open it, so...
Tux not only knew how to avoid the curse.
Yeah. It's like, what does this do? Whoop!
Oh,
I'm gonna be
refuse to get rid of this now.
Yeah, we can change that. Can we not have the necklace be ugly then?
What? What makes it ugly?
It's a purple chain. Like, is it like a delicate chain, or is it... I'm thinking of like gold chain, you know, like thick.
Oh no,
like...
it's thin.
Oh, okay.
It's a very thin, delicate amethyst chain.
Okay.
Again, probably more expensive because how the fuck did you make chain out of amethyst?
I don't know. She's still a gold girl, Daniel. But I still have an impressive amethyst that I spell amethyst.
Fine, it's gold chain with the gold holder, but the pendant gem is amethyst. Alright, you can kill yourself now.
I'm sorry, I just... She has her luxuries.
Keep apologizing. Stay mad.
But yeah, she still
Wait,
has...
I'm the one who's mad. Never mind.
She has that. And I guess if she's really desperate, she has the 2 drops of perfume. But I want to save that for a special moment in time. But anyway, I want to go to the mage, wizard, sorcerer, magic person.
Okay.
And I will be making my way.
You have the drop saved for the humongous amount of worth the perfume's worth.
Yeah, for a special moment. Maybe she wants to use it one day. Maybe she'll want to impress someone. Maybe this house or this house. This house. This stands out.
I know what you're talking about. This house, obviously.
It.
No, it's this house.
It's got.
Yes,
it's got
it's
greens on it. It's breathing.
Yep. So what do you do?
So I see this foliage-covered house while the rest of the village is thatch-covered.
Yep.
Are there any signs or anything that's, like, outside of his house so I don't embarrass myself?
You are good to enter.
Okay.
Or to knock. Or break and enter, you know, whatever.
Hello! Ah! He's like, yeah, she'll knock. She's not a fucking animal.
Debatable. Considering what she'll do for money.
She's not an animal right now.
It's a little bit more truthful and honest of her to say it that way.
Did Falcon know what Sylvan was on the box, or no? No, he didn't, right?
You never asked. You never asked him to read it for you.
I feel like I did.
Either way, yeah, there's a pause as you knock, and over comes a well-dressed, tiefling man.
Oh no, how well-dressed are we talking?
God. Well-dressed or good-looking is the
Both.
question. Oh, no. The dice! 9.
Ooh!
Well-dressed.
That's rough.
He looks not the most wealthy person in the world, but you know the cliche, rugged and handsome, like they have the button-up with, like, the vest, but they only ever wear that button-up and vest kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like I guess the cliche, like, the charming rogue kind of energy. That's sort of how he is. So he has like this vest on, and like his white button up is like rolled up above the elbow.
Like working man.
Kind of, but you see like he's there, and like he does have a book, and he opens the door and he's like, "Hello.
Ooh,
May I help you?"
Do I have her be flirty? Is he like the other people in this town that kind of have that like that look to them?
No. He has that like has like an exhausted energy to him.
Oh, Daniel, don't say that.
What?
That is just the type of man that was my TikTok.
Oh fuck! What was it? Exhausted? What?
Tired but dutiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. My bad. But it's still what I said. So never give him a shit enough name. Maybe you won't care about him.
I think when he opens the door, she'll be like, "Ooh, hello there."
His name is Malice Ebzer.
Is that the last name or the full name?
That's his last name.
Malice? Malice?
M-A-L. It's M-A-L-A-S. Malice. Not Malice.
I mean, that'd be pretty funny for a tiefling.
Yeah.
Because isn't that how tieflings are supposed to be named?
Yeah, some of them are like Stabber, and it's like, what? It's not a name.
That's a cute name. What's his Ebster?
Ebzer.
Ebzer. So E-B-Z-E-R?
E-B-Z-E-R, yes. Anyone listening, you'll quickly find out that this whole campaign is up my ass the entire time, so we all are developing this together. Yeah, so Malice Ebzer. He doesn't give you his name yet, though.
That's fine. As long as I have it in the journal.
So you go, oh,
hello there.
He's like, yes, hello.
What do you need?
He's like, I have something brewing that might explode, so I
don't magic people and brewing things. Can I come in?
Who are you?
Falcon sent me here.
You see him be like, and then he like steps aside and like he takes that deep sigh and then he steps aside and lets you into his notably very tiny home.
It's honest.
And the door shuts. And yeah, you'll see. I actually want to measure how big this house is, because I'm not even sure how much I fit into this tiny
This is like
a 15 by 20 room.
So he has a bedroom that he has as a home. That is his home.
Yes, and you can see he does have like an alchemy desk shoved up against his bed, and his bed is right next to his fireplace. And you'll also notice here, he doesn't have a room for a chest, a bag, and a bookshelf to be out of the way, so the chest is blocking the bookcase, and then the bag is in the corner, smushed between the wall and the bookcase. And then you see this is his, like, I get to live space, where you could assume he eats, reads, and, like, enjoys himself.
A multi-purpose table.
And that's it. This is all this man has.
Should be like, I see the realtors weren't too nice to you, and where are they now?
And he goes, when a town's going downhill, you don't have a lot of choices of real estate.
How long have you been here?
15 years?
How long has the town been going downhill for? 15 years?
As long as I've been here, so...
Oh.
No, actually longer. A lot of people say about 40, 50 years. Remember when they said that's what
the ley line?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, that's sad, but you seem like you're... She can't even say content. She doesn't finish the sentence.
Wait, what did she say? She was gonna say 10.
She was gonna say, you seem like you're, like, happy, but she can't even say that, and then she was gonna say content, but she doesn't say that. Anyway. Falcon pointed me in your direction because he told me that you would be just the man to get this off my hands, and she'll present the box, or at least get it unstuck from my hands, because I can't.
You see, like, he reaches over and like just takes basically like an alchemy beaker, like that has been having something drip into it, and he just takes it, and like as you're talking,
What color is it?
Huh?
What color is it?
It's like shifting between like a murky brown and like a deep like translucent blue, and he just...
You're drinking paint water.
No. Ugh. Coffee.
Flour. Coffee's not blue, love.
Oh, it is when you spike it with potions. Continue.
Ooh, that's liquor. Have you seen that meme?
No, but you see, roll me intelligence?
Oh, God.
You just have to beat a 10.
17.
Okay. You take a look at his brewing apparatus, and
Blueberries!
you see he has, like, 2 potions that are having their liquids filtered into a beaker that's being heated and steamed up, and then that's recondensing and being dripped into what you could see as coffee grounds in a beaker that then are being boiled, and then that is then being like, do you know the weird, like, vacuum coffee thing that people do?
Vacuum
That
coffee?
one video we saw on, like, TikTok where they had, like, the cool, like, you heat it up and it forces all the water out, and then the water goes in the coffee grounds, and then it sucks all the water back to the other vessel.
What?
It's super cool. I want to make or have one so badly.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
But fine, I'll simplify it then. It's being, like, boiled in there and then just being dripped down a long nozzle so it has longer time to cool before it enters the beaker that he was sipping out of. Mm-hmm. And so it is potions being mixed together and then using...
Spiked with coffee.
Well, no, using those potions to brew coffee that he's drinking.
Ah.
And he, like, sets it back under before too much has, like, just dripped onto his table.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, so you want me to fence a box for you?
I can't let go of it. That's the main thing. Unless I can't let go of it.
You know, if you wanted me to get rid of a curse, you could have just told me that and say...
Oh yeah, that's what it's called. I'm sorry, you're very attractive. I don't see... Are tieflings common?
No, I'm gonna say most plain-touched creatures, except for in certain areas, are quite rare. So, how do I describe it? They're four-leaf clover rare.
Okay.
Where...
Yeah, you could, if you looked hard enough, you could probably find one.
Yeah, exactly. It's not impossible. In fact, the likelihood of you finding one in a bunch of other clovers is pretty likely, just you might have to do some looking.
Yeah.
That's sort of how plainer characters are in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, again, in certain areas or in certain populations. So if you were to, I don't know, maybe find a cult town, there might be a lot more tieflings there. He's like... God damn it. Alright, let's see how complex of a curse this
He's
is.
like, is that all you want me for? My body?
And, you see he, like, has, like, a wet rag and he's, like, wiping his horns off. You're asking why or she's asking why?
Can she see why?
You see as he's wiping off, there is, like a waxy material or something on it that he's, like, wiping off.
Your horns just do that?
Huh? No, I put the wax on.
Like oiling your hair?
Yeah, kind of. But he's like, not only is it good for them, you get the wax protects it when I have corrosive materials that I'm working with that might splash on them. Plus, if I spill coffee on it, I don't want piss yellow or, shit brown
What
horns.
color is horns?
Huh?
What color is horns?
His are ivory.
Oh.
His are, like, bright white, like, pretty. He's like, he goes, don't ask to buy them, someone already did it. Not happening again. It hurts. A lot more than you'd expect.
I could just ask to hold on to them.
Stop talking. And so he looks around, he's like, well, I don't have much of an office, so, he gestures a hand, and he, like, gestures it back, and then this chair just...
Ooh, we shall sit down. So chivalrous.
He goes, it's just a lot easier, so that way if you, get electrocuted, you're already sitting.
Electrocuted?
He's like, yeah, curses act in very strange ways. Most of them are normal, but you never know. Sometimes people add double-layer curses, and those ones are quite vicious, where not only is the curse you can't get rid of the thing, but there's a curse that says if anyone tries to diagnose the problem, pain. It's happened before. Really sad story. Guy had a...
Do you really want to be telling me this before you're about to do something to me that might... The guy's gonna end up dead, right? That's how the story... Because I don't want to hear it if you're about to
luckily he was another tiefling, so when the cloak he was wearing burst into flames, sure, he was singed, but other than that, it was...
Not dead. Okay.
Not too bad. Most of the time when there are curses like that, the good news is triggering that usually gets rid of the curse. So it was just hard to get the cloak off of him while he was screaming.
Oh, okay.
So take a seat, and...
I'm sad.
Okay. And he's gonna go, okay, so... the more information I know about this box, the much, much easier it'll be to diagnose. Where did you get it? Ancient ruins? Did you take it from a king? An evil witch? Did it come out of the sky? A forsaken god?
What would Vintagram say? I know I didn't get to that part, of the tour, which probably at this point hasn't happened yet.
2 days?
Because I did the heist first day.
Day 1. Day 2, you stayed in town, and you had to deal with your problems, and then you left, and it's been 2 more days. So it's 4th day, and...
So it either is just starting, or it hasn't...
Box comes out day 7.
Day 7? Oh, the last day?
Last day.
Oh. What would Vitagram say, though? She has to...
Remember, this is sort of a Dr. House moment where if you lie, he did just talk about a dude having his cloak burst into flames and almost kill him.
I think what she will say is, I don't know where it came from, but I did see someone take something out and not be affected by it, and I was just curious. Because he looked like he had a good time with it, and, you know, a little puzzle, little tricky doodads going on in here.
Ah, a puzzle! Simple. Solve the puzzle and you get rid of the curse.
I don't know how he started it. What's the box look like?
You take
It's just a wooden box, right? With Sylvan on it?
Yeah, but as you look at it again, there's no lock. There's no, like, clear side to open it from. There's a top, obviously, and there's a bottom, obviously, but there's no obvious front side. You can't see a hinge to determine which way it opens, and then you just see all these Sylvan words on it.
I should have asked the pipe guy to read it.
Yeah, because he did carve it in Sylvan.
Yeah. Fuck. When he says that, she'll, like, look down at this completely smooth box, basically this brick of fucking wood, and, like, look back up at him.
You go, I understand you're not, puzzle adept, okay.
It's a piece of wood! It's a brick! What do you mean?
With Sylvan on it.
Yeah, the most useless,
Read the Sylvan... Oh, right, I forgot not everyone knows all the languages that they can.
She's looking at it, she's like, you really think that...
He's gonna gesture to his one sad bookshelf, and you are gonna see, like, several different books that are, like, written in different languages. He goes, when you're studying arcane on a budget, the irony is you have to learn a lot of languages, which means I have several language books as well. Give me a moment. And he goes and he picks up a book about Sylvan, and he flips it open, and I'm gonna say it's a very awkward, like, 30 minutes of him, like, flipping through books and making a few notes and, like, making you turn your hand, because if he tries to grab it and take it, like, you get something in your brain that is, like...
Hurt him.
Feralness engaged, like, and so, like, he's, like, having you turn it and having you flip it around, and he's just taking notes. Is there anything you want to be asking or saying to him while he is, like, just doing this?
What's that say? That's like a snake.
It's an S, so, yeah. And he
goes
back to...
What's it say?
It starts talking, and he's like, well, it's really obnoxious, because a lot of things this thing says is actually not only in Sylvan, it's ciphered through about 3 other languages, so whoever opened this in the first place knew what they were doing.
That's really complex.
Very.
It's a goblin.
Intriguing. I've never known a goblin to know more than about 3 languages. Hey.
She's gonna say something in Thieves' Cant along the lines of, like, yeah, those guys are really surprising, but I would like her to say, like, can I trust you?
So she says, yeah, those guys were really surprising, but...
Yeah, those guys are really dastardly. But I would like her to say, in Thieves' Cant, can I trust you?
To be fair, technically that's not how Thieves' Cant works. Thieves' Cant is really weird in D&D.
Uh-huh.
Because it's...
Just pig Latin?
No, because it is... Thieves' Cant is the ability to hide messages within normal conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read how they describe Thieves' Cant, it literally is just that. It is hiding messages throughout a normal conversation. But the issue is that since you're hiding words through others, it states something like, to get a message out that is a minute long, it takes 10 minutes of Thieves' Cant speak.
What?
Because you have to hide the message.
I can't be like the hawk sits on the tower of flames. Like, I can't do that!
That's not Thieves' Cant, that's just a code. But
isn't that what it basically is?
No, because Thieves' Cant is knowing how to say certain phrases to mean certain things. So
instead then... Oh, go ahead.
Well,
say what you want to say.
In some cases it can be 1-to-1 for, like, normal things of, like, oh, where can I find Betty this time of night? And, you know, maybe in Thieves' Cant, Betty means offense, right? So where can I find offense this time of night is sort of was what that would mean, right? It's a one-to-one sentence. But if you're trying to string something further along, like, hey, the cops are after me, I need to find a fence and a way out of town, then you might have a...
The apple pie's burning, I really need to find Betty right now.
Well, you might have a conversation along the lines of, like, it's been very hot recently. You know, my home is just burning.
On fire.
It's just absolutely, like...
Thinking about moving.
I'm sweating like a pig in my own home. It's pretty intense, you know. I was thinking of, you know, getting rid of a few valuables I have at home so I could have enough money to take a trip somewhere else. And, like, that in Thieves' Cant might be, like, the beginning part is you talking about, like, you have a lot of heat on you, selling your valuables to get enough money for a trip out of town is I need to find a fence to get rid of this hot stuff so that way I can leave. And that's how Thieves' Cant would work. But it's something along the lines of, like, for every word, it takes 10 other words. It's really weird. And that's how Thieves' Cant works. It's not just, like... It's not magical where you're like, have a nice day, and then have a nice day means in Thieves' Cant, like, psychically, you're telling them, and you're like, I need you to help me because there's 15 cops right behind me. They're southeastern and under this alley. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool if they were, like... Thieves have found a magical way of speaking words that don't mean what they mean unless you also know this magic language.
Yeah.
If it was like that could be very interesting. Also, Druidic is really stupid because it's never
It's
utilized.
bird chirps and bear roars.
Kind of,
Is
yeah.
it actually?
Basically, but the annoying...
How do you do a duck call? No, you need to blade grass, don't you?
No.
Since, you know, her and Sylvan are,
His name is not Sylvan.
I mean, not Sylvan. Why did I say Sylvan? Malice. Are doing this, I guess, throughout the conversation, like, I still want her to say what she's saying. Can I trust you in Thieves' Cant?
Okay.
But with the conversation of how long have you known Falcon for, you know? I told him about my problem. He sent me straight to you. And what's it like here? What do you do?
Yeah, you're talking and you drop the "Can I trust you" throughout your talk, and he sort of cuts the normal talk, and you see him like processing, and he just goes, "Yeah." Like it has nothing to do with your conversation. He just says yes, and then he goes back to what he was doing.
And she'll be like, "Tux opened it."
Who?
I took this from.
Inspiration point if you remember it and or have written it down.
I took this from Vintagram's vexing exhibit of Vemel's valuables. It had the Nature's Prince ring in it, and Tux opened it, and...
Who's Tux? Look, I work
Maybe
with...
that's just a thief thing.
Because, look, I work with thieves occasionally. I don't do all that.
He's one of the old ones. The old boys.
Ah. Okay. That explains the Sylvan. Ah, and he goes and he picks out a different book. And you see it's a book on Druidic. And he starts flipping through them, and now he's cross-referencing, like, several different books. And he goes, "Good news. I have figured most of it out. Bad news, I can't figure it all out.
Okay.
Because it references that the solution to the puzzle box involves a temple. And since I don't have access to said temple, there's no way I could give you the solution. However, if you were to get the information from the temple, bring it back, I could give you the sequence of things you need to do to open the box."
What does the box say?
The box says...
Is it just the instructions? Does it say what temple to
Yes,
get to?
there is it states it's called the Temple of the Stag.
I assume that's not here.
In this town?
Yeah.
No. It's not too far from here, however. Maybe a week's journey west.
Okay.
Hard part is it's one of those, on the rage lost temples. So, I don't know what to tell you. Basically, the box states that by going through the temple, you will find the solution to opening the box. Says something about, the journey through the temple will give you the answers needed for the end of the temple. And my assumption would be that box is supposed to be at the end of the temple. So, if you go through said temple, you should be able to figure out how to fix the box. And he's going to be like, each one of the sides have these gems. You're supposed to slide or press them in a certain order. Each side is supposed to be solved in a certain order. You're supposed to choose your sides in a certain order, and I have no idea. They probably relate to something in each room of the temple. And as you look to each side, the top of the box...
Should I write this down too?
Yes, just so that way you can reference it. The top of the box has 5 gemstones. Starting at the... So, you might have to draw individual faces.
Yeah.
The top, and then the 2 sides.
Have 5 gems each?
No, each have their own. The top of the box is 5.
Yeah.
The right side, I guess you don't know which way is the front, so you wouldn't know which side's the right. What I'm going to call the right side.
This side or this side?
That side.
This side? This side?
Yes.
This side.
Correct. That side has 3 gemstones, and then the opposite side, so what we're going to call the left side,
yes,
has 4 gemstones. The top
has 5.
Has 5, and they are...
Oh god, I have to write them down? Okay.
Do you care? Or...
Well, if I need this...
Because you could do it later. I could give it to you later, unless you want to write it all down now.
If you have it now, I might as well write it down now.
Yeah, so that consists of 5 individual gems. I'm going to go for... They're set up in, a circle.
Okay.
So at the top is a sapphire triangle. Then you have a ruby circle, a emerald square. There is everyone's favorite, a trapezoid that is made out of, is gypsum the one that's yellow? Topaz, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And then there is a upside down triangle that is made out of obsidian.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. On the right side with 3 gems,
yes,
there is a sapphire triangle, a topaz triangle. They're both facing the same direction. And then there is a ruby square.
Okay.
And the left side is 4. All of them are square-shaped.
Okay.
And then there is a obsidian, topaz. Why can't I think of the name of it? Quartz. And then emerald. And that is the sides.
Okay.
So, that's what he tells you. And he says, that's all I can tell you from what I know.
I appreciate it. Falcon also said that I might be leaving a trail or fingerprints somewhere that they could track me down at.
And you see his eyes just be like, oh fuck.
Is that not something that you do?
Depends on how strong it is. But he goes and he grabs a few things. One of them is has Wynn been arrested before?
Definitely when she was a kid.
She's been in...
But those bastards, she slipped through the bars!
She's been in manacles then before, which are just basically really big, handcuffs. And he comes over with a single manacle. It's just one end, no chain attached to it. And he goes and clamps it over the wrist that is holding the box. And he starts, drawing with chalk on it and doing all of the stuff on the, around your hand. And he's like, this is the easiest to follow track. This is as if you just literally had a glowing string just wherever you went. If someone knows how to track this, they will find you so easily. And worst of all, they'll be coming here. There's no way I can get rid of this.
best chance is to get rid of the box's curse first, and then maybe I'll be able to wipe it. But what I can do is he does some stuff real quick with a little bit of magic. He takes some spell components that he has and drops them around you, and he essentially gives you a momentary detect magic. And you're capable of seeing that bright glowing strand, and it is like a forearm thick string of just glowing bright blue
that snake
energy
lady's gonna fucking murder me.
that has just followed all the way. You see it come into the room and all this. You see it go through the door. Like, it is just persistent. And he goes, this is the best I could do for you, which is, he goes, I'm sorry, and he's just gonna stab you in the arm. And he's gonna take out this needle, and he has a little bit of your blood, and then he quickly like takes it out and starts doing some alchemical stuff with it, and he's like left you a roll of bandages to wrap yourself up with as he's doing
I
this
take
other
back
stuff.
what I said about being chivalrous.
He's like, it's either that or have you whine that, oh no, don't stab me, and like he finishes some alchemical stuff, and he comes over and he has like distilled it to like a few drops, and he drops it onto your arm, and as it hits you, you feel as if your entire arm has fallen asleep. Like you feel that static.
Yeah.
And it rushes, and it's very intense for like a second or two, and then you watch that intenseness and that staticky leave your hand and go into the box, and then enter the strand. And you see the strand like vibrate, and it starts to like break apart and be shot out into these particles. And now, instead of it being this thick bundle of like neon lights being like, look at this bitch took it, there she is,
she did it.
You see them fly out, pew, 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 just all over the place. And he actually goes and he shows you, like letting you look outside of a window. You see the entire town is now covered in these tiny but pretty bright, sparkling, like this cloud of this tracking magic. And he goes, this will go all the way down the chain, the whole way you've taken this. And as it goes, it's going to do this. The issue is, it's generally just going to show the major areas you've been in, so it'll be less accurate, but they can still eventually find you, especially if you're not in like a dense town. So I'd be very careful while you're out going on that temple hunt. But you know, following a cloud of magical dust through a forest isn't going to be too difficult. So I'm sure if they aren't on your track now, if they do, they'll be able to know you've come here, and eventually be able to find you out in the woods looking for this temple. So.
That's amazing. What are you?
What do you mean?
Wizard, sorcerer, just your friendly neighborhood alchemist.
A little mix of the first and the last.
She's still I think she'll still be kind of like looking at the floating particles and like, things are okay now. When she saw the cable, she'd be like, eyes wide open, looking at it. So I think she's a nervous smiler. You know, seeing this telltale sign of here's this bitch that has multiple things stolen, and then seeing it dissipate and just float up in the air really calms her down. Or at least takes the like smile off of her face back to like an actual like genuine smile. Does he actually say how he got to know Falcon?
No, you haven't asked him that. Because you were, the way you were asking, you were asking in Thieves' Cant, and he seems to like, he seemed to obviously be like, well, these aren't real questions, clearly, because you're Thieves' Canting me right now.
Yeah.
So he didn't give you an answer. That's why he was just like, yes. And then went about his business. Tired but beautiful.
Well, funny you say that, because I want to have a moment, or shoot my shot.
What?
And Daniel...
The whore is shooting her shot, I can't believe this. I mean, what?
Daniel, whore and
and shooting a shot go hand to hand. I know, yeah.
But can we say he's still, like, really interested in this stolen piece of ancient property, and he's looking it over in her hands, and he's, you know, in a distance where he can read it in his very poorly lit home.
It is just a single lamp and a campfire.
This poor guy. And as he's, like, she's maneuvering it, and he's maneuvering him to look at it, can I have Wynn say, you know you can get closer. I'm not shy.
I mean, he's gay now. Anyway. No. Yeah, so he's going to take a moment as she says that, and he's gonna look at her. And look to the box.
I can put the box away.
And he's gonna look back at her, and then he's gonna get up, and he's gonna walk away from her. And he's gonna grab his beaker of coffee potion and just take a sip, and he's gonna put it back down. Comes back and goes. He's gonna go. I appreciate the flirting, and I'd appreciate a lot more.
But I'm
No,
I'm homosexual.
No, he's gonna go. I would appreciate it a lot more if you continued with it once you had no longer had a cursed box attached to you.
You can put it in my bag.
You get the energy of him being like, we could see where this goes, but I don't want to have a thing with someone who might just go and get murdered within the next week, kind of thing.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's sweet. Okay, I guess.
You say you wouldn't hit it with someone? You know, people hit it off with people all the time. No, you know what you do? You do it, and then you wake up and you say, have a good life. And that's it. You part ways. We're not all Kelly Severide, okay? Where he somehow gets married 3 times.
Wait, is this you or is this...
No, this is me.
We can't all be the respectful whore that is Kelly Severide.
I guess she'll say, she'll put her stuff away, and she'll say thank you very much. I'll be in your town for a day or 2 more, so if you're lonely tonight, I'll be at your tavern. You can come pick me up if you want. And then she'd like to leave. Was he, like, using, like, ingredients to... Like,
yes,
with the manacle thing?
Clearly some of the things he was doing were being expended when he was doing stuff. So, like, when he put all the chalk, you see the chalk is gone.
Uh-huh.
You see some of the stuff he sprinkled has also vanished. He did brew up a few alchemical things, so you could assume those are lost. Although I guess you don't really have a way of evaluating the price of random alchemical goods.
I do want to leave him something, so I think she'll leave him... like 8 gold pieces? I feel like that would be like at least a median. Right? Yeah? Yeah, I'll leave 8 gold pieces.
You know, there's a check if you want to...
Oh, can I? Do I have the ability to do that?
Yeah, you can roll me an investigation check to see if you could try and suss out the price of everything.
You said investigation?
Yes.
10.
With a 10, you take a look at all the stuff he has in here, and judging by... You take a look at the room. And by evaluating everything else in the room as a whole, as where his money is being spent, you see the chair is clearly, like, secondhand owned.
Uh-huh.
The bed is not the best. The home is clearly, like, on the cheaper end because of how tiny it is and all this. Money-wise, he's not spending a lot on anything on the luxury side of things.
A chair, yes, Daniel, the peak of luxury.
I get it. Again, as I said, obviously. But when you start looking at the equipment he has, the alchemical stuff and the books, your eye for price sort of is attracted to it. The books, bindings, and the leather that they're bound in is very well made. These books clearly aren't, like, cheap reprints. They might be originals, they might be relics, or maybe they're, like, just very high-quality replicas of some ancient wizard's writings or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The alchemical ware that he has on his desk is all... If it's not new or well made, he has taken the time to polish them up
and to make them seem as close to new or high quality as he can. You get the sense that any and all of his money is being poured into his magic and alchemy learnings and whatnot. And so when you start to take a look at his shelves of ingredients that he was going into, you see they're all labeled. They're all in their own very nice containers. And even not knowing how alchemy works, you can tell some of the things he's using are of probably a higher quality than is either needed or is averagely able to be found. Think of it like how... Think about it as like how Japanese and Chinese teas have the like A1, D1 grades and stuff like that. Think of what he's has here as like A1 grade alchemical materials. Like, either he knows what he's doing and he's using the best ingredients he can to like make up for having such a like low end thing, like, oh well, since I can't produce a ton of stuff, I need to produce the best of stuff. So you could tell like all of his money is going to these things. They're probably pretty expensive. And with the 10, I can't tell you much more than that, but I'll say 8 gold feels like an appropriate amount for what he has used.
I'll do 10. I'll do 10 gold pieces. But I want to kind of backtrack on that last flirting part. I want to... As she's putting her stuff away, she very quietly puts the 10 gold pieces down in a very not obvious spot, like he'll find it later.
Okay.
And then she'll say, well, if you get lonely tonight, just ask the bar tavern what room the... How would she describe herself?
This is important. How
This is important.
How someone describes themselves is quite telling.
I don't even know how I would describe her. I won't think of anything too complicated, but for now I'll say, just ask the tavern keep where the wide-smiled brunette is. And just knock.
Okay, that's what you say?
And she will make her way out.
Alright.
And do I feel like anyone's watching me when I leave? Not him. I'm more concerned with the guy that was, I'm just having my morning coffee.
Roll me a perception check.
Ooh, that's a 22!
You see in this window right here, you definitely can see
Where?
him. Because I did put him there earlier. Right?
Oh, wait, I have to...
Right here. It's hard to put him, like, in the window because...
Like, with the...
Right here. He's in the building.
Oh, he's in the window?
Yeah, but he's looking out the window.
Is he looking toward, like, this
And
direction?
yes, he is looking generally in your direction.
Ooh, I don't like that!
And,
I don't...
and you see him sipping a morning coffee. And you've been in this dude's house for like an hour.
Man really likes coffee. I hope his bowels are okay. Can I use my insightful manipulator thing that you said I could
What is
do?
that?
Like, you said that if I roll, I can learn certain information on, depending on how, like, they're dressed and if I could tell, like, what their profession is.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling since I don't know what stat. 12.
It should be investigation.
Investigate 12.
Okay. So you're looking for profession, right?
Yeah, is he... This house, if we're gonna go by what's on Tailspire, it seems... Oh, wait, no, actually. No, that's a church. That's a church. This seems fancier. Oh, wait, no, what's this? No, that's a tavern. That's a tavern.
What's this? Let's see.
That's the forge.
Yes, sir, it's the smithy.
Blacksmiths are allowed to have larger homes.
The life of luxury.
It's hard work. But, like, this...
It is taller, it's on a bigger foundation.
Yeah, it seems more important.
Okay.
So my first guess would be mayor or something, but I don't know. He's getting a little too touchy with the eyes. I don't like.
You got a 12, you said?
Yeah.
Yes, you get the very good sense of some kind of leader type and or political type.
Mm-hmm.
The way he's dressed, the way he's acting, and sort of the way people operate around his home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people seem to be on their best behavior when they're, like, by his house. You see kids playing in other people's yards and throwing balls and potentially, like, knocking over
doing
mailboxes.
the things that they always have in like medieval, like with the hoop and the stick, and they just slap it and it
Yeah.
just keeps it rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see stuff like that, but you notice no kids are like playing in this guy's yard.
Nowhere near.
People-
He has bodies in his basement.
People seem to
He eats children.
people seem to stay away from this dude's house. When it comes to like doing anything that could potentially be like rowdy or like disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
And so you definitely get a sense of like power from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you'll learn with a 12.
Power or fear? Or both?
Powerful fear.
Okay, well, she's not comfortable with that. But I want to check out these churches. I want to check out these churches that all have the same god, but, are having turf wars. And maybe sell off this war cleric pendant.
Okay, so
For, maybe the other 260 gold I need for that pipe.
so
If it's worth more, it's worth more. I do need money to, live. Right now that's not going through Wynn's head. She's like, God, that
the
pipe.
pipe.
Oh my God.
So what do you do now that you've left Shaggy's house and now you're standing before the site of Death Stare Man?
Just so that you can kind of think. My plan is I want to check out these churches. I want to see if I can find any. I don't know what you
So
have
do you
planned.
want to check out these churches, or do you want to like?
I want to know
look
the
at the
drama.
outside?
I want to know the drama. I think
Okay.
I want to pop my head in and be like,
So you'll notice one thing I will point out is the priest, like clericy woman that you saw earlier, was wearing these like red silky-esque robes,
Mhm.
and you've seen there is a group of people wearing these like darker navy blue robes,
Mhm.
and then there's a third group of like clerical people you've seen around that are wearing these yellowy gold silky robes.
okay, all right, so I might know who to sell this to.
Who? I'm confused.
You said that they're red silky robes.
Ah, that's what you mean. Okay, I was like, what?
But me and Win, we want to know what the drama is.
Okay, this place, whoever made this map was not expecting someone to have three churches fight each other, so
I don't think anybody really does.
So-
Look at this graveyard. Do you see this graveyard? They have flowers. This one has mushrooms. That's a witch.
that's a lesbian.
That's a lesbian. But we want to check out the drama with the churches, and then
This one's fresh.
and
What's this hut? Is this the gravedigger's hut?
that's where the tools are.
Oh, nope, that is where the coffins are.
Oh, that's where the tools are. So, churches, if we can feed two birds with one scone, I would like to pawn off the emblem. I'm feeling, you didn't give me a price range for it, but would it be absurd to get $750 out of it? If it's so fancy and so beautiful and this chick...
It's a lot of gold. It's a lot of jewels.
It's a lot of gold, little jewels.
You want $750 out of it alone?
Yeah.
If you're selling it just as, like, you take off all the materials and you sell it as raw materials, I'll say you could probably get $200, maybe $300.
I want to sell it as it is, as a holy
If
symbol.
you sell it as a holy symbol to someone that doesn't fully value it,
Yeah.
I'll say you might be able to get $500 out of it.
Okay.
Now, if you're
They're like, ooh, shiny.
if you find someone who wants it, maybe it's a collector or something like that, I think again that's sort of the perfect buyer,
Mhm.
and maybe that could get you $750, maybe even $850 out of it.
And then you said someone who doesn't know would be about $500.
Yeah, someone who doesn't care about it sentimentally,
But as a collector or something.
but more as like, oh yeah, I collect just nice looking jewelry.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, it looks nice, clearly good craftsmanship, $500 for it. But it's sort of those things where it's like, if you try to sell someone randomly a Pokemon card, they're gonna pay you for the cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
You know? If you give it to someone who, and then if you're selling this Pokemon card to like just your average player, you know, they might give you like, I'll give you 10, 15 for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But if you sell it to a collector who knows the exact value of the card, they'll be like $255 for that special super card kind of deal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to make analogies from nowadays because everyone has the internet to know the price of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in a day and age where you don't, that's kind of what I'm trying to explain here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but yeah, we want to check out the drama with the churches. If I can find someone, if this does happen to be a war cleric church, I'd like to pawn it off there. I think that's perfect.
Okay, hold on. So we have, you want church drama.
Church drama. If I...
Pawn, talisman, parentheses, war. Okay.
And if I can't find anyone in the church, I want to go to the tavern and see if I can find a thieves guild here, maybe?
Okay.
If not...
I'll tell you, this doesn't need a roll. You know this. Not every town is going to have thieves guilds.
Uh-huh. Or, like, thief area.
Yeah, kind of deal. Thieves... Well, that's not true. So the way it'll work is, like, if you are in a big town, big town, like your original city or, like, a Waterdeep or something like that, you have a high chance of there being an actual legitimate settled thieves guild. Maybe even two, depending on the city. What are you writing down?
Two? I never changed my gold holder.
Gotcha. Well, the reason why you might find two is competing thieves guilds.
Drama!
And exactly. And stuff like that. And again, if it's big enough, one thieves guild might only be able to control one section of the city, and so the other part of the city's lawless. But then, of course, what happens? Someone steps in a power vacuum and all that jazz. So that's sort of that kind of thing. But as you get into smaller and smaller areas, you're less likely to have full-on guilds. Now, bigger guilds in cities might have contacts and stuff outside. You might have small thieves gatherings where, like, oh, yeah, we just are a group of people who like to hang out in this corner of the tavern that we don't let anyone else come into. And, like,
this is our corner.
This is where we do our personal gambling, and we hang out, and we do this.
And we say really weird things that nobody really understands what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So that's...
why we're talking about afternoon coffee when it's 12 at night.
Yeah. That's when you get to those weird, like, middle-of-the-road size towns. And when you get to small towns... The closest thing to a thieves guild you're gonna find is, like, one not well-known, but one known and probably slightly more obvious thieves contact who probably knows the other thieves in town or has made contact with them. They might be a fence, so that's why they might be well-known, because all the other thieves have to come to them. And this is the kind of person where if the town were to get bigger, they might be the one to establish a guild. Yeah. To then, like, coordinate and then also be like, y'all need to keep your fucking mouth shut, because if anyone squeals about me, you guys don't have a fence anymore, which means no one gets their money.
Yeah. So suck it up, bitch.
Yeah. So you get that kind of stuff. And then when you get to the smallest of towns, that's where you would really have to, like, suss out a thief. To have any conversation.
You're like, Gerald, him, the only thief in town.
Yeah, kind of deal. So in this size of town, you might be able to find that, like...
That table.
That
lunch
club,
table.
That thieves club. Or maybe that one contact kind of guy.
That's my second resort, though, if I can't find anyone.
So potentially look for thieves group.
Yeah, thieves group that can... Because if I can directly sell it myself, that's optimal, but if I have to fence it off for 500, I can, because if I get at least 500, I can buy that pipe, and I'll still have money for myself. So that's most optimal. I don't think I'm going to smelt it down.
Do I just need to make a ton of, like, magic accessories for you to... Okay.
You don't have to worry about me having too much money.
Okay. I love it. This is a ring made of pure diamond. What does it do? Nothing.
Give it to me. Give it to me now! But yeah, and then she'll end her night in the tavern and see if Malice comes. And then we can end session there.
Okay, so yeah, let's do a little bit of church drama. I will not get a slab in to have multiple churches.
That's okay. No, we'll just work with
and the audience doesn't need multiple churches, because guess what? You shitters can't see!
Well, maybe one day I'll record my Tailspire, but my computer does not agree with OBS.
Good. So yeah, you visit, would you want to visit the blues, the yellows, or the reds?
The Crips, the
Stop.
The Bloods, or I know there's not a third one.
You need to cut that out.
Is there a third one? There has to be more than just two, right? But anyway, honestly, whatever is closest to here, cause she's gonna hit them all. She's gonna pop her head in.
We'll say the blue group is the closest to you. The blue man group.
Okay. Oh no, they're gonna stare at me weird and make me feel uncomfortable while the crowd laughs. It was a really funny show.
It is really funny. Alright.
It's over here.
Yeah, so you go and you find the church, and...
Are the bells up to their expectation? Is this a Bellhaven bell tower on this church?
Roll me...
Or is this disappointing?
Roll me investigation.
14.
You stare up atop, and you see this large, probably as big as you, bell,
Okay.
made of this beautiful cobalt.
Whoa. So because it's a blue church, so it's a blue bell.
So it's this
Okay.
beautiful,
All right.
big blue bell that seems to, at the bottom, kind of like bloom out into what looks like flower petal, like a flower petal design at the bottom.
Yes.
And when it rings, it kind of sounds like it's more than one bell ringing at once. You get a sense that each petal, like its shape and size, kind of gives out its own hum at a different tone, as if it's a different bell. So, just one bell ringing, but you get like, I'll say like 7 bells going off at the same time, so different pitches and tones.
That passes. The Bellhaven Pacer test.
The Bellhaven Pacer test, is it?
What? Besides the Cobalt Bell, are we like looking at a Cobalt building? Is it?
It is a building...
Is it modern? Is it old? Is it future? Is it futuristic?
Roll me investigation.
Stop saying that. I have a 0. 10.
Maybe you should get better investigation.
I know, but I didn't want to make her smart.
You have
That's not fun.
You have expertise and plenty of whatchamacallits you could have put in it. What you're
I didn't put a single proficiency in it.
You could have had a +4 in that skill.
Win, lies, and eat hot chip, Daniel. Her proficiencies and expertise, it's sleight of hand, stealth, persuasion, perception, insight, deception, and acrobatics.
And where's her expertise?
Her expertise is in sleight of hand and deception.
Okay, that's a shame that you chose those two in a campaign where you're the only person who could make sight and intelligence checks.
Demos can do that for me. Demos is...
Once he's your buddy. But until that, he's gonna be like, you couldn't
Where is
see
his
that, dumbass?
deception? Oh, it's a +2. But what's this church feeling like? Is it putting the fear of God in me? Is it?
What did you get?
I got a 10. I think that's
So
what
taking a look at it, it seems newer than most of the other buildings you've seen in town.
I can smell the asbestos still in the air.
No, but you can smell the lead paint drying.
Oh, okay.
No, but as you take a look at it, it is a... Limestone comes in bright colors, right? There's like light colored limestone.
I think limestone's usually like on the white, yellow side.
Okay, it is this like whiter limestone building.
For limestone, it's pretty not lime colored.
Strangely, I know.
Yeah, it's like white, gray.
You see it's mostly made out of this white polished limestone. With the roof being these white, like shingled roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Or not white, sorry, blue shingled
Okay.
roofs. There are a few adorned, like, holy symbols nailed into the stone. And those seem to be made out of a blue metal. But roll me a investigation check. Ooh, maybe you should use investigation more often.
What?
Nothing, make a check.
13.
With a 13, they look like they're made out of a different material than the bell.
The shingles?
No, the metal adornments on the walls and whatnot.
So they're not cobalt?
Perhaps. Maybe they're an alloy, but
Like
they
mithril?
don't look
Is
the
mithril
same.
blue?
Mithril, I believe, is silver.
Oh, is it? I always imagined it to be like blue or purple. Anyway, but I don't know what it is. Does it
Yes.
look expensive? You don't have to answer that. I wouldn't know.
I was gonna say
She knows gold and silver.
I'm gonna
That's
say
it.
it's a blue metal, so you don't usually see that. So if it is a legitimate blue metal, then maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've had enough judging on the outside. It's time to judge on the inside now.
Okay, you walk in, and now here's the hard part: is I didn't determine what god this was yet. Ba-ba-da-ba!
It's okay. You can take your time.
Ore.
Hooray! Olay!
That is a goddess of life.
I assume O-R-A-Y.
A-U-R-A-E.
Oh, wait, say that again? Hold on.
A-U-R-A-E.
A-U-A-R...
No, A-U-R...
O-R.
A-E. And I'm stealing her from Greek mythology, just the name at least. She normally is the god of nymphs and breezes.
Breezes?
But for my purposes, she is going to be a god of just like the natural world and the harvest. But her specific domains are of like the tranquility and like balance of true nature. It's like the cycle of life kind of energy.
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
So what are you doing in here again specifically?
I'm scoping it out. I want to kind of sniff out, what is wrong with these three churches and why are they all worshiping the same God? That's usually not the problem.
Usually it's not. Usually the problem isn't that well, actually, no. In real life, Christy, there's a lot of problems about everyone worshiping the same God. Christianity, Judaism, they all worship what they claim to be the one true God. That they all claim to be the same. It's just the little details that they all argue on. Can you talk to God directly, or does it have to be through the saints? Was Jesus the Messiah? Yes or no? Was Jesus real? Yes or no? Like, that's the stuff that people start crusades over.
I still want to know for myself.
That's fair. So you come on in and
Yes.
You see standing as the leader of the blue group is you see this man. With no devil horns and no devil tail.
A human?
A
human?
He is he's a human.
Human? Okay.
And you see him up on like doing stuff. You see some like nun or priestly women going around like managing some of the stuff of the church and setting some things up. And you see this guy in his robe standing, and he has a quill in hand. He's actually like biting on it as he's reading some stuff, and he takes it out and he's writing a few things down, and he's like moving some stuff, and you see like he like on his like left side breast in his robe you see like it's bigger. And without an investigation, what's your passive investigation? So it's just 10 plus your investigation score?
It'd be 10.
Okay. You can see that...
Damn, I should have put more into intelligence.
It is the shape of a book.
Okay.
So you could assume he has, like, maybe, like, a holy scripture or something sitting underneath there. Or maybe he's a wizard and it's a wizard book. You never know. But, yeah, he's sort of there and he's, like, scribing some things and he's moving some pads of paper around and, like, just generally doing some, like, it seems to be, like, some paperwork. And he glances up when he sees you. I assume you walk in and, like, while everyone else clearly has, like, something that they're doing, you don't. You're just sort of looking around. He goes...
Taking everything in.
He kind of stops and he goes, what? What'd you say?
She'd be taking everything in, just looking at everything.
And you kind of look over to her and he'd be like, may I help you?
Is it common practice for all churches to heal the sick?
No.
Oh.
However, this is a church of nature and life. Wait, why am I giving it life domain? There's literally a nature domain. I'll combine the two, generally, but
The life.
but yeah, I'll say some churches, depending on the god, definitely do offer healing and or like curative.
Well, I remember the farmer guy talking about it. So.
Oh yeah, I go in town to get healed up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she is going to, because very conveniently she took damage 3 times in that fight, and we haven't had a short rest at all.
Okay.
She will say, good evening. I was attacked by a bear on my travels, and was wondering if you could spare any aid.
He's gonna go. He actually, like, you see, like, kind of a look of, like, what am I gonna do? Kind of
I'm not prepared for
On him
that.
as
What
he-
am I, a nurse?
as he goes through some papers, and you see him like checking something, and I want you to roll me investigation.
17.
You see what he's holding, and with the light kind of shining through it, you get a gist that whatever he's looking at seems to be like an inventory. And he's like, my bad. He puts his paper down and he sighs and he goes, yes, we can manage that. And then he sort of pauses and he calls over one of the like, other workers, and he goes, would you please help her? She has, several wounds that need to be attended to. And the person agrees and goes off, and he goes, you can take a seat in one of the pews, and
Yes.
and wait a moment and she will be back. And
Thank you so much. I only want them to treat one wound though. So I want to make sure everything else is hidden, and that the one wound I want them to treat is very
how
obvious.
much HP did you lose?
I lost.
Because that'll determine whether or not that happens.
4, so that's 45, and then she's down to 23. So that's a little bit less than half.
Okay. Well, that'll determine whether or not this closes up your wounds completely or not.
I just need more wounds for the other churches to look at.
I know,
so.
but you don't have a choice, because that's not how healing works in Dungeons and Dragons.
I know.
So eventually the woman comes over and she pulls out a scroll, and she opens it, and she starts making some hand gestures and seems to be humming a prayer of some kind before. Hold on. There you go. Before the scroll begins to and it like harmonizes with her humming, and then the scroll glistens with this like emerald light before it just vanishes, and you are healed for 9 hit points.
Okay. And I don't know if she'll like check over Win, but Win will say like, thank you so much. Who do I owe my thanks to? Who is your lord?
She's gonna say something along the lines of
The earth.
it is not our lord but our lady Orre.
Okay.
And she's gonna say the god's name. The goddess's name.
What else can I ask? Ooh, is this gonna be a case of like... It's gonna be a case of like... No, they're fighting. What are they fighting about? I don't know how to talk to these people to get the drama. Because right now my thought is like, oh, is it gonna be a disagreement against the message, the money, and the spread? Is that gonna be the 3 things that they're arguing about? Because this guy is looking at books, and...
So what are you considering that?
The money.
Okay.
He's looking at books, he's like, okay, sure, yeah, we can do it.
You said the message, the money, and the what?
The spread.
Okay. What do you consider the spread in the...
What?
What do you mean by the spread?
Because money, of course, money, right? Materials, inventory, right?
Okay.
Like what? I can spare you 1 spell, you know?
Okay.
And then the heart would be like the actual like, no, we really need to connect with our mother and make sure that she loves us all, and we need to devote our lives to everything, and we can't do, we must like, I guess like a monk kind of thing. And then
connect to all the energy kind of deal?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they still keep to themselves mostly, and then the spread would be like, we need to conquistador. Like, we have to go out and pillage and not pillage, not like...
Deus Volt.
So I'm wondering if they're all worshiping the same person, but they're like, we all have different...
Are you asking, did I create modern Christianity?
Is that how that...
Basically, everyone just argued over a bunch of tiny things that, well, I can't say it was always the church's fault or the people's fault. Sometimes it was a king being like, hey, church, change the rules because I want to divorce my wife.
And, yeah.
And the church was like, no. And he's like, you're no longer the pope. This guy's the pope. Pope, make it legal for me to divorce my wife.
You got it, boss.
Yeah, basically. and now divorced pope and normal pope fight, and like that's how some divisions within religion started, and it wasn't necessarily their fault. But other times it is, yeah, technically everyone follows Judaism, but some people don't truly believe that Jesus was their savior, and then that's how you get the split between like basically all of the versions of Christianity or Christianity-like religions. That's how you get those to fight each other, is because who believes in Jesus, who doesn't, who believes that this pope down the line, his decision really actually counted and you can divorce, who believes this pope's decision that it's okay to be gay. Like, every time there's a massive, like, well, we've grown as a people and we could understand that the message needs to grow, and every time you get one of those moments, there's a division.
Yeah.
And then every time you get a moment where someone just, goes a little power crazy and is like, God told me to fuck your wife, you also get another power division. And so it's a weird and wacky world.
But that's my theory right now.
Okay.
That's my theory right now. But yeah, I really don't know how to... She's not a very religious girl, you know? She is just in here for the high school drama. But is there, like, anything else that I can get, like, from, like, the feeling of the room? I clearly see this guy's busy. I can care less.
You notice he is wearing I assume you have an eye for things.
I have an eye for a lot of
He is wearing a circlet, upon his head, that doesn't seem regal. It seems
magical? More
no,
tactical?
It seems like a bougie and or like a religious symbolic kind of thing of a flower crown.
Okay. Because nature.
Yeah, but instead of the flower petals being the color of flowers, they're made out of little carved sapphires.
Whoa! Hello. Oprah? Yeah, I'll take that info and I'll leave. Oh.
Alright, and you leave, and I'm going to move him off stage.
And we're gonna go to the next church.
Alright, and you go to the next church, which happens to be the same floor design. And you run into the red church. But yeah, you come in and you see this red dragonborn woman. She's actually, instead of standing like the other guy, she is seated upon like a red, like
throne?
kind of, not throne, but it is a nicer chair. It's like velvety kinda. And she's sitting there, and she is sitting with like a leg over her knee. And she seems to be reading a book, and she has these I'll give you her jewelry things that catch your eye. She has horn circlets, not circlets, but like horn rings that are gold strips with bands of ruby in the center that seem to have like outgrowths, like branches. And then she also seems, she's also wearing a pair of gold-rimmed circular glasses with like ruby lenses, and she's just sitting there and she's reading a book in her fine clothing.
Our Sunday best. I think she'll pull the same thing again. She'll be like, since she's not dressed, excuse me, I was attacked by a bear on my travels. Is there any aid that you could lend?
She takes a moment, and
I'm going to also assume so far this Ori person, not war clerics thing, right? That okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure.
But she kind of looks over at you. She's going to start posing a philosophical question to you, but as she's doing it, she's already like waving at another person to get something. And she's going to go, well, have you weighed the aid that you'll need against the aid someone else potentially does?
This is doggy dog. Is this the let the weak die? This is let the weak die.
No, this is a. She's basically in a very roundabout, overly like sophisticated way asking, is your pain, is your wound so great that I should be giving you aid rather than holding it for someone else who might need it more? Is your pain, is your suffering warranting
her assistance.
I guess she'll be like, is there like a waiting room where that happens? She's being a little dramatic, but she's like holding on to the.
She's gonna kind of chuckle and she's gonna go, I simply am asking, have you posed the question to yourself if aid is truly needed?
She'll lift up the gash.
She's gonna like put her hand.
That's like
she's gonna put her hand.
She'll look at it. She'll be like, I don't.
She puts her hand like stop, and then she's gonna go. I don't need a yes. I don't need proof of whether or not I think.
No, she wasn't doing it to show her. She was doing it to be like, I don't. Do I?
Oh, okay.
I guess I could sleep it off.
And she's gonna go, have you now posed the question to yourself?
Yes.
There you go. And that is all. You may take a seat and you will be assisted in a moment.
Thank you.
And she goes back to reading.
It's very uncomfortable.
I mean, everyone would be. If you were bleeding and someone asked, do you really need help right now? That's
the dentist when they stab my gums.
That's what you said? Yeah. It's basically the equivalent of like someone coming into the emergency room like after a car crash and they'd be like, do you really need that
You're really gonna
bed?
come here and think you need help?
You really need that medical bed when someone else could be using it? And you're like, yeah, I guess you're right. I could just sleep off my spinal injury. It's fine.
It's really no biggie.
And out comes a woman holding a potion bottle in both hands, cupped, and she offers it to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The whole thing?
She nods.
If I only drink half, can you use it for somebody else?
She's going to make a gesture as if she's laughing, but like keep a hand over her mouth like she doesn't want to speak or make verbal noise.
Okay. Are there other people that are also doing that?
There are a lot of people around who you notice no one's talking in this room.
Were people talking in the first one?
Yes.
He will not speak unless spoken to. She'll drink the whole thing though.
Okay. Do you want to do an investigation check to see if you could figure out why they're not talking?
18.
Yeah, you're looking around and you come across like several things around that, like you see like an open page to one of their scriptures and some other stuff, and it's around enough that you could get this might be one of the main tenets of this church's faith of it is, because I'm really bad at creating stuff like this. It's basically to essentially say like many need silence to be able to hear the call of nature or like call of the natural world.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you could assume maybe it's a part of like priestly training that they have to be quiet, whether it's forever until they get to higher ranks, or whether it's till like maybe it's for like X amount of hours per day, or they can only like it has to happen while all the hours of sunlight is up. But once you don't know that yet, but you get the gist that they're not talking because it's one of the tenets of their religion. And do you drink the whole bottle?
Yes. Unless her laugh was like, "Ah, you're funny, stupid," or like funny, and then like, yes, we can use the other half.
You get the sense of, it's funny. Yes, we could technically use the other half, but she kind of like gestures to your wounds, and you get the energy of like,
you should drink it all.
Like you're gonna need it all. Honey.
Okay, she'll drink it all.
10 hit points back.
41 HP. I have 3 left.
And I'm gonna change something. Those horn things, there's actually like 2 sections to it on each horn, and between them
scriptures.
What?
Scriptures.
That'd be cool, but no. I was gonna say between the bands, you see that the ruby has seemed to like have grown like a vine up to connect to the other. Oh,
there's the nature in her.
So yeah, you drink the potion, and it was very much like this like shimmering, like strawberry soda, pinkish.
Was it not just like a standard health potion?
Clear. No, because floating inside you saw like petals of flowers. Oh. And when you drank it,
I choke up.
Well, I was gonna say when you drink it, like as they touch your mouth, they kind of like dissolve. And each one it's like a 50-50 each time it dissolves, but half of them are very sweet, and half of them are very bitter. And you're healed.
So after that, they gently take the empty bottle from you, and they walk away. And now you're just sort of sitting in the church.
I guess since it's very quiet, she'll walk away and very like, thank you. Trying to like...
You say that very softly, and you notice that as you say that, literally every priest, or every, like, clergy member, I guess would be the term, they all stop. And they all turn, and they all kind of give you a very, like, not even a half bow, but like a quarter bow.
Yeah.
And then they all go back to what they're doing. So you get the sense that they are all listening intently as a part of the whole.
Okay. I like that. And I assume, like, flowers, nature, Ori.
Yes.
Ori.
Yes.
Central theme. Okay. Alright. So this bitch wants to kill people.
What?
I don't know. Do you
Maybe?
ask bare wounded people, like, do you really need help?
Who knows?
I like it now. I like her more than the other guy. Alright, on to the next one.
Alright. So you saunter on into the next, and now let me make up a priest for this group while finding a way for them to be different. In you come, and you see probably what you would most expect to be in a church.
An ASMR?
You see an ASMR.
Okay.
Clad in this beautiful, like, flowing yellow robes. Their wings seem to have been dusted in some yellow powder or something to give even their wings, which are normally this, like...
Is it pollen?
Yeah.
It should be pollen, so they're like little nature's
We'll go with that. And going with pollen, we'll say, like, some, like, butterflies and stuff are, like, taking pollen off of the wings and flying off with them. And you see they are standing, and they're standing with their eyes shut. Hands both holding onto a staff of some kind just right in front of them. And they're just standing in front of this podium in, like, pure kind of meditation. You see the staff is this tall golden rod with a massive topaz at the top.
Okay.
And you see along their fingers, every finger has a topaz ring on it. The staff looks as if it was a branch ripped from a tree that then just turned to gold.
Oh, okay.
The rings look as if someone took vine, wrapped it around their finger, and then it also turned to gold and topaz.
Uh-huh.
They kind of, like, they are just, like, perfectly stood upright, hands both on the staff, just sort of focused in deep thought, and there is, like, this ever-present quiet hum and a luminance in the room. And did I say Dory was a ASMR?
ASMR, yeah.
Just like her with her home, which is, like, unnaturally bright, this hall is unnaturally bright.
It's very fucking bright. Okay.
In fact, they don't have a lot of lights in here because it seems like the accents of gold and topaz seem to just be irradiating their own light into the room.
And she will go up and do the same thing.
And before you even speak, you hear within your own mind, do not worry. I know it is age you seek. Please take a seat and you will be attended to in a moment.
When will be? Yes, ma'am. She'll sit down.
There is a silence, and
is there at least talking?
There's some talking, but there's silence from her.
Okay.
And you see there are some other clergy members going around, and they're talking and getting some stuff done. And they're actually, like, you're not being attended to. No one's healed you yet.
Yeah.
And time passes, and a few more people come in, and you see them all kind of, like, have that same moment of, like... And
then they look at me, and
the voice being in their head, and then they take a seat, and then it continues until, like, this place starts filling. And you're here for, like, an hour and a half, just sitting and
she
waiting.
wants to have a sermon. That's what she's gonna do, isn't she? Okay, go ahead.
Until the entire room is filled.
Uh-huh.
And then it's quiet for a moment. The doors shut as two of the clergy close it.
We just got tricked! They're gonna kill us.
It is quiet for a few moments longer.
Should a mass heal us? Go ahead.
And she opens her eyes, takes the staff, and waves it amongst the crowd. And everyone in the crowd heals for 8 health points.
That's everyone?
Everyone.
Whoa! That's a lot of people.
Yeah. And you will notice that some people coming in here were coming in with minor problems. Some people had a cold, they were sneezing.
Coughing.
But you notice other people in here were in, like, agony and were waiting for this to happen for that hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for a while there, you heard people just sort of being, like, in pain for an hour and a half.
My leg.
Groaning, like, all this stuff. And then she does this, and, you know, everyone kind of, like, eventually takes a moment and realizes what happened, and then they all get up, and, you know, she basically is like, let the light of Ore be with you, kind of deal. And then everyone else leaves. Everyone else starts filtering out.
Oh, that's pretty cool. We'll do a clap when she does all the healing. What are her, like, clergy doing, like, as things
So
are
the
happening?
thing you'll notice is, 'cause I should have said this when you came in, all the clergy have, like, they're in their own gold robes, and you notice their robes aren't just, like, just cloth. They also have feathers. These yellow pollen-stained is a better
Yeah,
way to describe it.
pollen does stain.
Feathers, that are just, like, all over them, and all of them have their hoods up, and basically most of them are wearing some form of mask.
Mm-hmm. Oh. How do they interact with each other?
They walk around and they talk, and, like,
Oh, okay.
it's sort of normal, like the blue group.
Does she have a mask on?
She does not.
Oh. Because she's the voice of her lady.
Technically, wouldn't that make her the face, but...
The face of her lady. It's a very nice face.
She is a 9. The dice
Very-
keep saying 9.
Very nice face. Very nice. Okay. That was impressive. That's the most impressive out of all of them, I think. Blue's on the bottom of the tier list. Oh, what was
To be fair, they're also the only one who's the clergy aren't forced to do weird things. But, you know, whatever floats
I
your
know,
boat.
but who...
By the way, I also mentioned, because you weren't asking, because you were skipping that part.
The looks?
The outside of all of the buildings do have their own bell.
Like a different style bell, or
Yes.
just different... Oh. What was the red one?
The red one, while the blue one was a bell that became flower petals, this one looks like several red metalled, like, leaves.
Okay.
Sort of paneled on top of each other.
Yeah.
Probably about 9 big metal leaves that all bell out and then ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then the yellow one
I hope those fuckers don't ring them all at the same time. At
They
like
do.
8 No!
And the yellow one is, like, just maybe 1,000 metal feathers built into a bell.
Okay, okay.
Yellow metal, obviously.
Alright. I think... Well, I'm not gonna get any sellers here, so...
I mean, you could. I mean, who knows? You could always be like, yeah, I found this magical talisman. You want it?
But how much
Are they
money...
going to be the perfect seller? Who knows?
Yeah, I want at least 500. I am shooting for that, and I just don't think I could get that. See, if I found the church for it, I think I could get that top tier price, because it's just, you know, like, how much are you willing to give for your god? You know?
That's fucked up.
But Daniel,
I will also point out that if you made a fucked up thing like that to a war god cleric or war god paladin,
they'd beat my face in and then give me the money.
oh, I guess. Way of thinking it.
Like, the fuck did you say about me and my god?
Track. Take your money.
Of course I
Take.
would.
The only reason I didn't kill you is because you'd be a disgrace to send to the war god.
But yeah, I'm not gonna get any sellers here, and they clearly... I feel like it'd be, like, disrespectful to give them somebody else's,
I will say that is a normal religious thing to take each other's artifacts. That's all I'm gonna say.
But it's not.
That's only if they're competing.
But it's like selling, you know? Because
Yeah.
it's just like, I feel like they'd be like, why would I want to buy this? You know, why would I?
Okay.
Besides, like, if they need materials and stuff, but this is just like rubies and silver, or no, you said gold, and
Yes.
it's just like you can get that anywhere, you know, and not anger somebody else's god because you dismantled a holy artifact. But we'll go off to the tavern, and I will try to fence this off. I think I do want at least 500 gold. We'll try to find the bad boy table, the bad boy lunch table, and I want to be nosy, and I want to ask about the churches, and
Okay.
I
So you
want to
walk
fence it.
in.
Yeah.
And it is not. They're not even hiding it. And you come in and you see a table. It's not Thieves Guildy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that sewer thieves guild that you're used to.
Yeah.
You're looking at something more Falcon style, and as you look over, you see a halfling woman.
Are they all short?
You see a halfling woman in a business suit.
Oh.
Sitting very bisexually
Okay.
at a booth table. You know where it's, you know what I mean by
Yes.
that.
I think
Yeah.
everyone.
Like I'm doing right now, which is, one leg down, one foot up on her chair with her both hands clasped together over her knee, sitting there, and she sort of she has like a hot cup of something, tea, you don't know, coffee, and she's sitting there, and she's flanked by two like goblin. They seem like assistants of some kind, but they're also kind of dressed a little bit like more finely.
Yeah.
And they're talking with her, and like they all are talking in whispers.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes from that to you see a few human, maybe an elf or two, half elf or two, and like your more generalized races, dwarf and whatnot. You see a couple of them standing around, and they sort of seem like your normal thievy types,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not wearing like these fancy fine clothings like the halfling woman is, but it's definitely not ratty thieves guild clothing.
Okay.
It's like when you watch an action movie and you're like, that's the rogue character, but you're like, why is the rogue character wearing a fine pressed white button up?
Yeah.
And very nice slacks.
Why do
What's
they look
happening?
like they're going to their office job?
Yeah, exactly. It's very weird. That's kind of the energy you're getting from these guys. And then you do see a few guys there that are maybe not thieves, obviously, but they're obviously like there because they look like they'll crush you.
Yeah.
You see one human man that is like at least 6'6", and he is just jacked. And then you see standing next to him a half orc and a Goliath.
A Goliath?
And you just see them all sort of like
Big man.
and they're not like excluded, but they're sort of sitting in strategic spots that if anyone were to try to get to this table, you would have to get close to at least one of them. And so that is what you see when you come in.
Damn, how do you introduce? Would Wynn know how to like introduce herself to like a?
I will say you notice. Roll me charisma, and this will be this will be the equivalent of. Actually, I'll tell you what this is a check for, and you will tell me the role that you want to do.
Okay.
What role do you think is appropriate for how much Wynn has gotten around in the thieving world? How many different thieves guilds has she met? How many different types of thieves and stuff like that?
Why don't I just say slight charisma? I would want to say persuasion, but I also have a +5 in persuasion. But I just feel like charisma, because charisma is like your presence in the world, and not necessarily, I'm saying she's famous, I'm just saying like, she's been in the world long enough and doing this long enough too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just a straight charisma?
Unless you want to do persuasion, because you know me.
I will allow it to be persuasion.
14.
Alright. With the 14, as you look at this table and you think back on your other, like, your life of crime. You'll know that there are several ways that these higher end, quote, quote, groups operate when it comes to, like, being introduced. And it's either you gotta have a letter, like a recommendation from someone, you have to have someone who knows them bring you in. Or the other two ways is there's usually someone in the bar associated with them that doesn't sit at the table, whose job is to be the initial contact person.
Okay.
Depending on the establishment, that can range from the barkeep, the owner of the tavern, or just a member of that group who sits outside of their established VIP zone.
Would I be able to
Suss out that person?
suss out that person?
Yeah, give me... You know thieves can't... Probably perception with advantage.
11 and 13, and I'm pretty sure I'm +3, so it would be 16. No, wait, psych. No, yeah, 16.
You see... Over at a gambling table, you see a man, half-elf, sitting there, and he is not suit and tie formal, but he is well dressed, sitting at a empty gambling table. It is a game of dice of some kind, and it's him alone, a open chair in front of him, and the table. You see him sitting there, and he's fiddling a coin between his fingers. But the thing that you notice with your perception check is it's not a real gold coin.
Oh.
It is gold, and then in between, you see a flash of silver, and then gold. And it's thin, and it's only on the edge of the coin. So you will know that as like a thieves symbol of, like, thief, kind of, is the energy, or, like, you know, organized crime man. It's a symbol of, like, come talk to me if you're looking for that kind of business.
Okay.
And he's just fiddling with that coin and sitting at his table.
She will come up and she'll sit down across from him, and then I want her to say, "I like fancy finger work. Do you only do dice?" Or she's gonna pull out her deck of marked cards.
Okay.
Or can we do something a little more interesting? But I'd like her to say in thieves can't. And they can play cards while she's saying this, because what she's gonna say is probably gonna take like 10 minutes, and thieves can't. Cause
depends on what you're asking, but tell me.
But I wanted to say in thieves can't. Like, I got a few things that I need to get out of my bag that. How do I say high value?
He's gonna kind of chuckle, and he's gonna be like, "I hope those things are coins if you're coming to my table, because you shall be losing plenty if you're here."
That's some big talk. I haven't seen anything happen yet.
And the energy you get, the thieves can't you feel from that is equivalent of, like, if you have something worth a lot of money, I know someone who can sell that for you.
Okay.
And then he's gonna talk, and you get the gist that this isn't thieves can't necessarily. This is actual wording, and he's gonna go, "Cards isn't the thing here. You know, there's a lot of manipulation we know people can do with that. Dice, they usually don't lie, so."
Until you take the... I guess you shouldn't say that out loud.
And then he's gonna go, price to play is 5 gold.
She put out 5 gold pieces. She wouldn't be mad about that.
And the thieves can't you get from that is, if you would like to continue potentially getting me to work with you, it'll be 5 gold as, like, a consultation fee.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so you set the 5 gold down, and he picks up, like, a Yahtzee cup, basically, he has, and he puts it on top of your gold coins and swirls it. You know how they do that with the dice to stack them?
Yeah.
He swirls it, and then he pulls it up, and he pours the coins out into his hand, counts them, and then puts them aside, and he goes, "Alright, so, let's play." And he starts just playing the dice game, and you notice that as you're playing and as you're betting, every time you win, the next time you lose. Every time you lose 2, you win 2, and it's just keeping both of your money even for now.
Okay.
And it just, you know that he is manipulating the dice. And he's making sure that you both are winning and losing and winning and losing. So that way you guys can keep playing rounds while you're talking without anyone actually making a transaction of money in this moment.
Okay. Would she just be saying like what she has? Like, I gotta.
Well, you would basically need to get this guy to believe what you have is real or like worth it to introduce you to the group. This is your quote like interview to see if whatever you're bringing to the table is worth it.
I think what she'll do is she'll talk about the emblem. She'll talk about her necklace. I'm not gonna sell it, but I just want to beef up my portfolio. And then I just have another amethyst to sell. I don't have too much to sell, but I do want to have those 3 things said. I don't really intend to sell the necklace though. I just want.
Okay, so you say you find a way to talk about jewelry, and you talk about this woman I saw had this beautiful ring with just this absolutely massive rock on it. And this is you signaling that you have a massive piece of some kind of gemstone to sell, and you start talking about like, you go along with that sort of train of talking as you guys are chatting up while playing dice, and he starts evaluating it, and you kind of start throwing out numbers here and there, and it's you as you're trying to drop like what you feel it could be worth, or like maybe what someone else has told you its value is, and you sort of like subtly drop those off in conversation. As what I'll say is these dice are obviously loaded, and they're very magically loaded, and you're actually able to manipulate them once the guy has like started to basically like, it's a magic item that he has transferred the ability for you to use them.
That's cool.
So as you roll, again, this goes back to how much you know about thieves and thieves can't and all this, you start rolling specific numbers on the die that equate to like,
yes, no.
Look, 7 flat. And that's you talk about like, I think it's worth around 700, and that's you dropping those kinds of hints and stuff here and there. And like there's terms in the game of like, you know how in poker there's like royal flushes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
In this dice game there's like certain combination of
How
numbers.
the fuck do you even play dice?
Huh?
How do you even play dice?
Depends on the dice game, but I'm not being specific because then I don't have to know the rules to a dice game.
Yeah.
But as you roll certain combinations of dice numbers, they, it's like, it's called like a royal gold or something like that, right? And it's you starting to describe the necklace, and you talk about it's a, there's gold and ruby involved, and there's the large rock is amethyst, and you slowly through the process of a game that maybe takes about 40 minutes, there's several games that take about 40 minutes in total, you express the different things that you're bringing to the table and their high-end values and stuff. What about your perfume? Are you willing to sell that too?
No, I want to save that.
Okay.
I want to save that.
And eventually, through his conversation, he essentially tells you that, cool, you'll need, if you want to get any further, you're going to need to raise your bet. So the consultation fee is now going to be a little bit higher, and you'll know that some people will charge the thief amount of money to see the fence. Once they get the goods, if the goods that they brought are legitimate, it's basically, think of it as like a safety deposit.
Okay.
You get the deposit back if what you bring to the table is worth it. And if what is worth it isn't, then they take the safety deposit as a way of wasting their time.
Okay.
And he tells you it's going to be 50.
Gold pieces?
Yes.
Okay.
And then throughout the game, you start losing more. And you lose and you lose and you lose and you lose until you've lost 50 gold pieces in total. And he goes, well, that was a great game. I'm going to catch a drink with my friends. Would you like to come with? And this is just him being like, we're going to go talk to them.
Yeah.
And so he gets up, he sets out all, he cleans up the table, and he like makes a gesture, and the buff human man gets up, comes over, and he sits
There's nothing but meat in this tavern.
and he just sits at the gambling table, and he's just keeping it so no one comes and fucks with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks you over into sort of the VIP area, and as you come in, you see all of them sort of eye you a little bit. And what weapons are you carrying?
Just a rapier for now.
Is that all you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can say handbow, I guess. I can put that on there
Okay.
if you're okay with it.
No, that's fine. And we'll say, I'll say like it's probably custom to wear all of your weapons very outwardly if you're going to meet with some thieves. But of course, they all assume you're probably hiding other weapons.
Yeah.
And so,
It's the thought that counts.
well, again, they assume it, but by showing multiple weapons, it's like, it's like, this is what I'm capable of. I'm not hiding anything, and if I'm showing you the more dangerous stuff, anyways. Kind of energy.
Don't make me get my boot knife out.
Don't make me get the shiv.
My ankle revolver.
And as you come in, I have to find a name. How does Sala?
Sala.
Does that sound good or no?
That sounds good. How do you spell it?
I lost it because I was looking for a last name.
We'll just say S-A-L-A.
Okay.
Is that the halfling you said?
Yes.
Halfling tux. Bisexual. Underline.
Bisexual, obviously. You come in and you get a weird feeling as you walk into this room of as you walk past the line where the for all intents and purposes the bouncers are sitting.
Yeah.
You go deaf for a moment. You can't hear anything.
Oh.
No crackling fire, no rowdy bar, no nothing. And as you step past this, I'll say it's like a foot thick moment. Sound returns and you hear like ambient noises, but it.
And then all of a sudden she's like, "Do you think I'm gonna pay fucking 500 gold pieces for that shit, you stupid cunt?" Like, is that?
No. And as you come in, you see her sitting there, and you hear like muffled noises from the rest of the tavern, but you also hear soft like how to describe it, ye olde club kind of music, not like club, but like social club.
Oh, okay.
So it's like some nice classical music being played. And she's sitting there, and as you come up, she actually stands up on the booth, reaches across the table with a hand, and she goes, "Sala, good dream. Lovely to meet you."
What's her last name?
Good dream.
Good dream.
Yes. G-O-O-D, dream. One word.
And she will gladly shake her hand back. The very bisexual one.
And she takes a seat back down, and she goes, "Something to drink?"
No, because I want Win to go directly get a drink from the bartender so she can be the wide-smiled brunette girl. So if Malice comes, there's the... So just no, I'll
Real
pass
quick,
for that.
also because you clearly want that to happen.
It doesn't have to. I'm just
But
you don't have to
want
give
it
me
to
everything
happen,
I want.
right?
You don't have to give me everything
But
I
you
want.
want it. No, that's why we're gonna roll. We're gonna jump back a moment. I want you to roll me a persuasion check to see if you persuade Malice.
Anyway.
We're all having strokes.
14. Okay.
So you need to know. Anyways, so yeah, she asks if you would like a drink.
No, I plan on getting plastered later. I don't want to get a head start just yet. But thank you. I really
She nods and
appreciate
she's like, "I feel like a head start is exactly what you want if you want to get plastered later, but each their own."
it. I have to have a clear mind when we're talking.
She nods. She goes, "So, what do we have?"
I can just start whipping it out right now.
she's like, yeah, no one else is gonna.
She'll pull out the
Talk
very
shit.
big amethyst.
And you see, like, she doesn't do anything.
It's a rock. I
No,
don't.
you see her goblin assistants get up, and one of them, grabs it for her, and again, she's just sort of sitting there, not like trying to like be relaxed and stuff. And you see the goblin is holding it in front of her and like turning it so she can inspect it and stuff like that. And she's sort of nodding. She goes, okay.
And then she'll take off her necklace and she'll be like, it's used, but it's useful. I don't even know exactly how it works, but it's useful. And she'll put that down. And then...
And the next goblin goes and he picks it up and he holds it for her and is like, is a QVC the TV show? The selling on television thing? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Is there a specific word for it?
Yeah, but anyways, he's like showing it off with like the camera behind it and everything.
He's like turning the angles.
Yeah, and you see her being like, yeah, okay.
And then she will put down the piece of... I don't know the French. The grand finale of the big fucking whopping... Talisman. And that's what I got.
And you're gonna see... I'm gonna need an insight check.
She's like, oh, that's stolen as shit. She's like, how'd you take that? 9.
With a 9, you don't see anything.
Shit!
She stays completely stuck. Is this all?
That's everything I have for today.
She nods and she goes, now do we want to haggle and do the back and forth, or would you rather, be the way it's going to be and I just give you the flat price and then you take it? We do the song and dance and we're going to end up where I want either way, so.
Whew! Lady knows what she wants. Can I at least hear the prices first?
Individual prices?
Yes.
She's going to go...
Give me a fucking rock.
She's going to take a breath and she's going to go, for the large amethyst, I will give you 110 gold pieces.
Okay.
For this talisman, I feel 480 is fair. And as for this one, I'd say 200.
The necklace.
Yes.
I don't want to sell it anyway. I almost basically get everything I wanted. I'm 10 gold short of everything that I wanted. You said the amethyst, I could get about 100.
Uh-huh.
You gave me 110. You gave me 110, and then I wanted 500, but you said 480. So this, I'll take it. I'll take that. Except for the necklace, of course.
So how does she deny the necklace?
I think she's gonna say, sorry, but the necklace is still on my curiosity. So I honestly don't think I can say goodbye to it yet. But I appreciate your offer.
She's going to nod, and she's going to, whether this is what Wind wanted or doesn't want, but she's going to take it that you're a novice, at least in dealing with her type of fence and work and whatnot. And she's going to go, look, don't put something on the table if it's still going to get your curiosity. Some not so, understanding types like myself might get a little offended that apparently our price wasn't good enough for you. Trust me,
Mommy angry.
No, that's not what she's saying. She's saying genuine. Like she is assuming you are some kind of novice thief of her specific division of thievery.
Mm-hmm.
And she seems to genuinely be giving you a tip of, like, this will fly with me, but other ones will take it as disrespect, and respect is all people that, like, some people like me care about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you disrespect them, you might not get anything you want. In fact, you might get stuff you really fucking don't want. Okay. That is the energy she gives. And she's like, so, yeah, so you said the necklace and the gem?
No, she just wants the necklace.
No, to sell.
Yeah.
And she goes, alright. And she gives a nod, and both the goblins...
Give the woman her money!
The goblins take theirs and put it away, and then...
Did the goblins get really excited at the amethyst?
Yes. And then, they pull out a box and open it, and she goes, I'm a little short on coins, so I hope this will do. And she gives you, what is it, 590 total?
Yes.
With 590, she pulls out these bars of gold.
Oh.
And
What am I supposed to do with this?
They're called trade bars. Each one is worth 100 gold coins.
Oh!
And-
I'm about to give most of them to the pipe
And
guy.
she goes, some merchants will take it, others will require you go to a bank and transfer. They like their coins rather than they like their bars, because that's one more trip to the bank they have to do. So she gives you 5 bars, that's the 500, and then they, out of the chest, pull out some coins and stack you up enough. Actually, they will get you 9 platinum pieces. And put those on the table, and she goes, pleasure doing business. Feel free to stop by and have a drink with any of us here. Within reason, as long as, you know, you're not as hot as you are right now.
Oh, don't say that. Well, she knows what she means, but...
I was about to say, and you completely understand that she somehow knows the things you have are spicy.
I'm a thief! What else?
Well, because even though you jumped a town over, again, she somehow knows what you have is very hot to the point where people are probably going to be looking for these things.
Yeah.
And
The Rock? I guess I took it from Vincent's. Or Vintagram. I don't know why I said Vincent. That's his middle name.
Vintagram's his last name.
Okay.
He is...
Vincent Von Vintagram.
Vincent Von Vintagram, yes. VVV. And it's just that's just his whole thing.
Is there a bank here?
Do you ask?
Yeah.
She goes, yes, there is. You'll want to go towards the back of town. Small stone building. Can't miss it. The employee entrances are only for, you know, my kind and dwarves.
Because it's small?
Because it's only the short races who have the banking magic in this world.
She'll say thank you.
She's gonna say, tell them Sala sent you. They'll cut any fees off of the exchanging.
You're too sweet.
Of course.
Can I have that one cheer?
That
one drink.
Oh, she's gonna go, of course, what would you like?
I can't help you.
Of course.
That's not what Falcon gives me.
You're gonna say Falcon and say, roll me insight.
She's like, I want my money back. 13.
The 13, all I'll say is you get the gist that she knows Falcon.
Okay.
But you're not gonna know her opinion of Falcon.
Okay. Alright. He stood me up on a date.
Or she had to stand him up on a date, who knows?
Oh, shit. Falcon's not lucky with any women.
Especially because one's a lesbian and one's bisexual.
I think she'll start off with a beer or an ale.
Okay. And does she ask for anything specific, or is she like just any ale you have kind of deal?
Yeah, any ale.
Any
She's not
ale,
picky.
and
She likes experiences.
She's gonna nod. She's gonna go, how about no ale? How about a mead? This place has a lovely honey mead.
That sounds delicious. Especially this time of year.
And
whatever it is.
Overcomes a... so, I don't know if you know this, but oftentimes meads were served hot.
Ew! Really?
Yeah, they were...
Wouldn't the alcohol all burn off then?
It can, but usually you would just bring it to a near boil.
Oh, okay.
And then you would do it. Which is good, because the whole point of some meads is not to get drunk.
It's to enjoy, to taste.
Well, it's to enjoy and to taste, but also it's to preserve things. So the alcohol keeps any microbes and stuff from living in the water.
So you don't fucking die.
So then when you heat it up and get the alcohol out, you have fresh drinking water, and times of the year that maybe fresh drinking water isn't really available. Again, I might be pulling this out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure that's where one of the reasons why it was so helpful for people.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they didn't know it back then. They were like, it tastes good, and sometimes if you drink enough, you get drunk. It's awesome. But yeah.
I was gonna have her chug it, but now she's not. Now she's gonna savor this.
Yeah, you have your
She loves when people get drinks for her.
You have your nice hot honey wine, or not honey mead.
Yeah.
And it's pleasant. It's warm. I imagine it to be like. My brain immediately goes to oolong tea or something like that, but it's more of like it has that earthy herbalness that tea has, but not the leafy sweetness. Instead, it has like that really intense honey sweetness, and that's what I would bet. I've never had mead in my life, so.
Yeah, you enjoy it, and then
I
what?
do enjoy this drink. And then I am gonna go to the bank, and I think I'm gonna ask the pipe guy if he would prefer the bars or the coins. Because I was initially just gonna go get the coins, but maybe he wants the bars to, like, use for the material? Unless it's illegal.
There's no national-wide thing. The only reason why these bars are standard is because the bar's weight is equivalent to the weight of the gold coins.
So if he needed gold, he could be like, I have a gold bar. That's
In theory.
Okay, I would like to ask him that.
You're gonna ask him, and he's going to go... Not really. I like to source my gold elsewhere.
Ethically. Sustainably.
My organic gold. Well, in
She's
this
like, that's why it's so expensive.
In this town, you never know. Who knows? Maybe they have pigs that shit out gold, or maybe they have an animal that, when slaughtered, their bones are gold. You don't know how they get it.
That's really cool. Gold bones.
Pog?
That's what Win wants. I'm just kidding.
Gold bones. He's gonna, but I wouldn't mind being paid in them.
No, I think Win sees real, and he's just such a good craftsman that she can't do that. You know, if he doesn't prefer it, she's gonna go get the coins instead.
No, he wouldn't prefer it to use it as a material. But he'll take it as a currency.
What I'm saying is that
Okay.
she wants, you know, I don't know how old this guy is.
He's roughly mid-40s.
I don't know how much time he's devoted to his craft, but I'm sure it's a lot. And, you know, the least you can do is get these into coins.
Okay. So you go to the bank.
Yeah.
It is this fortified stone building, and as you enter, behind the bars, of course, is a gathering of
Short people.
Yes. They would stab you for hearing that, but yes. You come across a dwarven woman standing there, and she's like, "How may I help you?"
Hi, Salah sent me here. I wanted to get these bars, into gold coins.
She goes, "Gold coins or platinum? Does it matter? Or would you like them as gold coins?"
I'd like them as gold, please.
Of course. And she's going to take them, and you see she pulls out a different gold bar, and she has a scale, and she puts
Is that the
her
master gold bar?
And then the gold bars you brought in, and she stacks 5 of hers versus the 5 of yours, and you see her take some time of, like, seeing the scale move, and she, like, knocks it and lets it balance out again, and she does a few more tests of, like, making sure what you're giving her is legitimately gold. She takes, like, a stick and kind of, like, or, like, a special, like, tool, and sees how well it can, like, indent into the gold, and a few other tests that seem to be arcane in nature of just verifying what you're giving her truly is as close to 100% gold as possible. And you haven't done any gold shaving or anything crazy like that. And she goes, okay. And she takes them back, and she comes out, and she pulls out, like, you know how they have, like, rolls of quarters and stuff? They have that.
She gives me a fucking million of those. It's like I'm getting the money from the bank at Michael's again.
Basically. And so you get these stacks of probably about 20 gold coins each in these rolls. And she undoes them for you and puts them into she asks if you have your own coin purse or if you would like them to give you something to carry them in.
Oh, save it for the next person. I'm about to spend it all anyway.
Okay. And she takes your coin purse and fills it up for you, and all your coins go in, and she slips it back on after you. And she goes, if that is all, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
And you will also know that the banks are also a mail system.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to send mail, that's done in the same building.
Pony Express.
Basically.
And then we're gonna find that motherfucking pipe.
Okay, and now you go over to the pipe seller and...
I'm kidding, no.
Bong! Dead. Then you just take the pipe and run.
Yeah. Now I get to keep the gold and get the pipe. And I have a felony on me.
Win-win! Win-win loss.
Is it, though? Just adds to the flavor of character.
Okay.
How many felonies do you have again? I lost count after 5.
Once I hit double digits, I just, wasn't my problem anymore.
It's the states.
Let God sort me out.
But she'll be back and she'll be like, business has concluded very, very swiftly. And she's going,
Wonderful. He's going to
He's going to take it, and a similar process arises of him weighing it, but he's much less
Man, that's a lot of money. That's enough money.
He puts your coins and a few like steel or like iron weights that like have numbers on them indicating how many gold coins they're equal to, and and you see he only you gave him how much money did I say? It's 500 flat? No, it'd be 700 if you wanted to take it with you.
I thought he said 700 if I kept it in the town, because then he'd have to do the maintenance.
No, 700 if you're leaving, because he'd have to make it so he wouldn't have to do the maintenance.
Oh. Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he does. So you see 700, but he only puts enough weight that's like 650, and so yours is clearly off a little bit. But he's like, yeah, it's close enough. Takes the coins and tosses it aside, and then he pulls out the silver bar, takes off your silver wrapping, opens up, and he offers it to you. And then right before you take it, he pulls it away, pulls out a mahogany box, opens it, slips it inside. It has a nice, like, plush sitting in it, and he covers it, and then he hands you the box, and he goes, I would recommend keeping it in there, just in case, safe spot. It can take a hit or two, but why would you want something so beautiful to get dented?
Of course, I would never.
As we cut to 17 sessions later, when Wynn uses it to stab a man, because she has to.
And I bring it back to him, like, I don't know what happened.
There's blood. I'm not gonna ask.
It'll
be 100.
Sometimes I
it'll
cough
be 100
that
to fix it.
Okay. Doesn't ask questions. I like that. And she will say thank you, and then as she walks back to the tavern, she gets female excited. Yeah, we'll go to the tavern. I'll smile. I'll buy a bottle of wine, because if he shows up, then that's wine for both of them. But she's also not
Time to
against.
roll his judgment roll.
Wynn's also not against downing a whole bottle of wine by herself. Did you know most wine cups can fit a whole bottle of wine?
That's unhealthy.
But since people only for the aeration and stuff, they only do that much. But you can just pour a whole bottle of standard wine into a cup. It'll be very hard to sip,
So
but
the
it gets
question
it.
is, are wine cups really big or are wine bottles really small?
So the whole wine bottle's for herself is what you're telling me?
Wynn has a guest that night.
Oh. She's like, I was just about to finish the thing.
And he comes with a few gifts of his own to share within the night. Basically, he has a few potions that he brought and things of that nature. You could think of it as magic LSD.
Oh, how fun! I was gonna say something cute.
And Wynn lost that thought because she was truly halfway through that bottle already.
No, I assume he knocks at the door, right?
Yeah. No, he just appears through the window. He apparates through the wall.
You can make a potion for that.
I'm sure he probably could, but no.
And then I would like her to get real close and personal, and kind of hold onto his collar and say, "So did you get lonely?"
There's some
Flirt back with me.
I can either make it really funny and him be like, I'm always lonely.
He's gonna go, am I the lonely one? I mean, you're the one who invited the nearly homeless alchemist to spend the night with you. And he's saying this as he's already, walking in with her.
Ooh. I think that's all we're ending. I think
Okay.
she'll
And
close
the door. Shuts
Yeah.
and fade to black. Alright.
Before he comes, though, I would like Wynn to have a moment where she's laying in bed and she's like, "Are you still in there?" Voice o' mine in my head.
Actually, yeah, you're probably gonna get a response, and you're gonna hear, you did buy a lovely pipe today. I consider today a win, I suppose.
Is it Demos's voice?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it does have a lot of different voices. It's at least 7, I think is what I said before.
Then why was his voice trailing off when she was going into the town? You don't have to tell me if I can figure it out later.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna tell you.
Okay, alright.
Actually, I think it'll be hard for you to find out without Demos, just directly telling you.
Yeah.
Long story short,
you don't have to tell me. You really don't have to tell me. If you want to
it doesn't change anything. I don't think it's gonna change the plot. But basically, Demos used a lot of the energy that he sapped from Wynn to cast spells and stuff. He's still not used to it. So, after he did all of that, his ability to pass within the layer between life and undeath and demon and not demon and shadow and reality sort of became too great, and he couldn't punch through the barrier to just antagonize Win like he normally does. And so that's why he was trailing off. It was just the weakness sort of getting to him, and that ethereal barrier getting thicker. And so he was unable to talk, and that's why he was trailing off. He wasn't becoming quieter or leaving. It's just like, it's at...
Chrissy, wake up!
Chrissy, wake up! Yeah, basically. That's essentially what was happening.
Okay.
And so now that Win has done nothing but, like, low-stress activity, and she's been doing enough nothingness to technically have been able to, like, take a short rest, and she's been healed 3 times, Demos was able to sap enough from her to gain the strength to punch back through that ethereal barrier.
That's cool. I like that. Alright. That's good. She's disappointed, though.
That he's still here? Of course.
Yeah, because it'd be really funny if he's like, I consider today a win, and then she gets the knock.
She's like, don't. And she's like, you're not gonna fucking talk the entire time he's here. Understand me?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Sound of our
So, session. End session, go.
I'll combine our last one, since our last one was literally like only an hour.
Yeah. And we also, I don't think we had a talk at the end of the last
We did
session.
not. We went straight to bed because it was like 7 in the morning. I want to give it a 9. I got everything I want done, except really finding out. Oh fuck! I forgot to ask about the churches. They're really not that important to me, at least directly right now.
You know, until they brainwash and kill you and have the cannibalism begin, but who knows?
Who am I eating first?
Well, obviously the one who you're sleeping with.
I'm eating the mayor first. He's giving me the side eye too long.
I said the one that you're sleeping with first, so, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little one.
I'm eating him in a different way.
Probably both ways. If, the cannibalism is to be believed.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. I got everything. Everything went my way today, pretty much. Everything.
I mean, you didn't really have a lot of, like, indecisive things, like...
Yeah, but Malice didn't have to show up to my room. I didn't have to make the money immediately. I didn't have to get this pipe today. I could be hunted down, but I do have a 2 days head start.
You have a 2-day head start, and then you also don't know when they have found the ring. Maybe they've already found it, and maybe a certain bounty hunting snake lady is on her way. Who knows?
I got my fancy pipe. So there's this stat in The Sims, right? If you, like what I did for Win in The Sims, if you are materialistic, you get a negative moodlet if you don't have anything new after so long.
Okay.
And that's basically Win. So
Okay.
she has her new thing, so that moodlet is like, so she's very happy. She has this new shiny thing.
I'm
cool.
curious.
Yeah.
How attached to things is Win? Like, is she a month from now going to be like, I don't need this?
She'll be sick of she'll be sick of her toys. I do imagine her to like.
Well, is she going to be sick of it? Or is she, like, is she going to toss it away sick of it? Is she going to sell it sick of it? Is she going
Sell it sick of it.
Okay.
Cause she likes the bougie lifestyle, but I just think I want her to like.
What was I say? She can, like,
Ooh, I think that's what I want her
is
flaw
she
to.
more like going to replace the pipe with a new pipe? Is she going to...
Well, I think I want it to be 2 things. I think I want it to be that like.
There's only so many fancy, cool things I can make, Christine.
This pipe's really cool. I think what I want it to be is that since she's always on the run or on the road, if she's not guilty of doing anything or not caught, she can't carry that much with her. So she doesn't have the room to have a lot.
Okay.
She can't carry a lot to begin with. And then I think just her as a character, I think I do want it that she just gets sick of things. I think that's why I don't imagine her being able to, if she ever was in a relationship, I think that'll be the downside of relationships, is that she just gets tired. And
That's the most toxic kind of person, my god. There's a whole episode of House about that.
oh,
The lesbian who got sick of her partner, wife thing.
but
I don't know if they were married or not.
I think they're just girlfriends. But I think that's just how I want it to. Well, you know how you beat that. Remember the other lesbian? She was also just as toxic.
No, she wasn't.
Remember, because Cameron
Oh,
was
she's
like,
right. She's like, now that she
you
has
have
my...
to know. You have to know that like she wants to leave you, and then she was like, well,
I
she
know,
has
but
my
she
liver.
can't once
but
she has once she has my kidney. She can't.
Smile. But I think I want that to be the bad trait. At least right now, maybe something she can grow on. But I do just want her to get tired of things.
Okay.
I want her to get tired. Like, it's not something that she can really change or affect. Maybe, like, if she puts the effort in to try really hard. But I just want her to get tired.
Okay.
Of stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
So 9 out of 10.
I got everything I wanted. Highlight is definitely getting to sleep with this guy.
Alright, sure. Leave Pecs out of it, I guess.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. I have to...
Nope, you ruined it.
No, I forgot. It was yesterday, Daniel.
You've chosen men over chicken. I can't believe this.
I can't believe it either. What kind of rural Pennsylvanian am I? It's because that's something I never got to do with Rie. Rie, you were like, roll, and I was like, do I sleep with them? And you're like, yes or no. So I like trying. And you can say no. Like, she doesn't have to...
I roll the dice to see if it works. The way it works, I'm going to do it is if you want to sleep with the person and you have not done anything to...
anger the person.
To make them in character want to do it besides, I'm sexy lady offering sex. Like, if you don't do that, then it's going to be a persuasion check. And then if I deem a character having a trait that allows them to have an ability check versus that, then I'll do that. But if not, it's just a flat d20 roll. And if they roll below your number, then you successfully seduce them.
For seduction.
I guess technically it would be willpower would be the roll to go versus it.
That's for any clerics and paladins out there. Oh dear God, please have mercy. And then low light.
Being gay, I know. It's a problem for us all.
I don't think I really had one. There were points where like the session kind of plateaued. But I don't really think I had one.
I mean,
like I'm not even mad that the kobold and the bear got away. Like
if the plateau's high,
yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
I had fun just going around this town and finding out why these churches fucking hate each other. I saw a lady made me like stare into my bear wound and ask if I really
needed aid.
It was crazy.
What's your thoughts on the 3 churches now? I know you said ranking it's yellow, red, blue, but
I don't know. Maybe I think yellow is like we will do as our Lord tells us, and we will serve her when she wants us to serve. Red is we have to serve Our Lady in the way we see fit. We can't just sit here and do nothing. And I don't know about blue. Honestly, that's the most confusing one. I think it's like, I'm a mortal man. Listen, I want to go somewhere when I die. I'm just doing this right now. So I gotta keep these, but I got a job to do. Blue's the most confusing. I really don't know what's on without blue. I think red is the most clear, and yellow's kind of in there. But still a little bit of the like, I need to know a little bit more. Blue I need to know the most, because I don't fucking know.
I'm sure it's not a secret, because I've told you I do this before, but it is one of those cases of, thoughtfully I do have an idea, but who knows if I realize my idea doesn't make sense, but it is one of those cases of, if player poses idea that's better than mine, I might just fucking steal that.
Did I pose any ideas that are better than yours?
We'll find out whether or not what you said comes true or not.
Okay. I want to know what the fuck is up with this mayor too. Why is he giving me the side eye?
I mean, who knows? Maybe your simple answer, there's bodies in his basement. He might be like the mayor from Castlevania Season 2, who, you know, was like, go to the apple orchard, and the kid fucking gets killed.
That was such a fucking trip of an episode, where he's like, let me help and be extra helpful. And then, like, it was like the last 5-10 minutes of the episode where, like, I murdered children. Like...
he didn't murder children, he murdered anyone in his town that he saw as...
Unruly.
That
was really good. Castlevania was really good.
He was keeping his town pure, Christy. And it also keeps the food prices down, so...
I think what I would like next is you clearly want me to go on this little puzzle adventure, which is gonna absolutely take the wind out of me because I'm stupid.
Trust me, it is baby's first puzzle, it shouldn't be that.
Okay. So that's next, but I do wanna know why this mayor's side-eyed. I wanna know.
So, if you're intrigued in things, you could always investigate them later, so...
I know, so I'm gonna break into his house.
I'm gonna go commit crime. That is your MO, so.
Yeah.
Alright.
Be gay, do crime.
Especially the first part. So, low light, no low light, highlight. I think we should start doing that. If you don't have a low light, you get to choose a second highlight. Because being like, highlight was blank, low light, I don't have one. Go next, like, you know?
What's my second highlight?
And then also the vice versa.
Text.
The vice versa is also very much so possible. You can definitely be like, I had no highlights, so my 2 low lights, and you can shoot me right there at that moment, as I am too bad of a DM.
Pecs. I really like it because another thing I want for Win is that she does like experiences. She likes new things, and like, not that she's like an adrenaline junkie.
No, but it goes along with her not liking, like, getting bored of things, and it's like, I've ridden a horse before. I mean, yeah, whatever. But I've never fucking ridden a massive ass chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that makes sense. That's very fitting. For me, the session was a 9. I felt the session.
You don't have to say. I don't want you to just because I say. I love everything, Daniel. I'm just
No,
I'm so
I-
full of joy. You don't have to say that if you don't want.
I liked it just because it was a session that I was worried was going to go slow. A lot of talking, a lot of plot setup, a lot of.
I'm surprised.
that.
I said at 3 that I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and then we can go to bed. And like, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. We talked for that long.
Yeah, we got it down. Well, you gave me a clearing. That's the one thing you guys never do in our normal parties. Is you
That's
guys-
because everyone's fucking bad at D&D other than me. I'm the best D&D player. Me.
Oh, Garen. Anyways,
Garen's the best note taker. He's the best one at remembering.
Garen pulls it straight out of his ass. And
I just kidding. When he gets into roleplay, it's so good. Garen.
him as Hex. Oh my fucking! I love him being like, Saren, mommy.
That's how I
Excuse me,
mommy.
It's so fucking funny, especially because you're like, Garen, is this what you're into, really? He's like, no, but it's what Hex is into. Like that's literally the purest form of roleplay. Being like, I hate X thing, but my character loves X thing, so they're going to indulge in that kind of deal. That is the purest form of roleplay, of being able to leave you. If you're playing yourself in a role-playing game, it's less roleplay, and it's more the ability to play along, I guess. Just, enter the fantasy world and go along with the fantasy rules, but you are still you, so it's what if I was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's still technically roleplay, but I feel like I feel like the real test of roleplay is once you are able to remove parts of yourself to faux experience being someone different. Which is why I'm terrible at roleplay, because all the characters I play are like, quote, quote, overly intellectual, and that's me idealizing myself.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not, because I'm stupid.
You're like, this is me in a vest.
Except for, no, the one character that isn't me is Leon, because he is just southern
Another
chill.
gentleman.
He's just southern chill. Oh no, he's a simple man.
Do a hard day's work for a long night's rest.
I will say the more I saw the the more I saw that meme, the more I kind of felt that could be Leon, where he's like, another gentleman, and then the fight starts just...
Target lock.
Exactly. Southern aggression, beginning.
Slow down there, partner.
No, he doesn't even say it, he just holds the belt and just one hand out, just...
Don't make me have to do this, son.
Now, I know your mama didn't beat you, so I'm gonna have to. Here we go. No, I enjoyed it because, again, first, it's impressive that you... Not impressive that you did it, but it's the thing that our D&D parties, every D&D party we've ever had, has never done, in general, which is devise a plan of action and then follow the plan of action. Anytime... Usually there's no plan. Usually one person's like, I want to do X, another person's like, I want to do Y, another person's like, I want to do Z. And instead of organizing it, everyone leaves it to the DM to decide who gets to do their thing first. Yeah. And then, because not everyone cares about X, Y, and Z, it's person A cares about X, person B cares about Y, and person C cares about Z, you start doing thing X, and person A continues to continue trying to follow this thread, continue to follow the thread that I'm laying for them, and since the thread is meant to continue on, they will try and just get everyone to follow that adventure. And then either the other 2 threads get left behind, or you get into this weird situation where 3 different characters are trying to follow 3 different threads, and my option as a DM is either force you all back together,
or force all the threads to come back together. And so that's something that's really nice in this duet format, is you don't have to argue with anyone because it's just you. And if you want to do this one thing and don't care about these other things, there's no controversy. It's just, I'm going to focus on doing this, and I get that message loud and clear, and then I tailored the game to follow that. It's very nice. And I feel like when you and Garen played together, you had a similar thing of, like, you guys were able to be like, this is the collective what we're supposed to be doing, let's go with it, bada bing, bada boom. And then, of course, you guys role-playing it. That's the one thing that kind of sucks about duets, is that I do have to have demos, and a good thing you're playing a character that very much wants to be in towns, because if not, it would be very awkward not having anyone to interact with you. But having something like Varric just start a little beef between Wynn and Hyde was all that was needed for hilarious roleplay for, like, the entire rest of that session.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, it was impressive. But my idea on the session is a 9, because in these slower paced sessions, and I always say slower paced, but it might just be because what I'm used to
is like 5 people talking at the same time. And
5 people talking at the
5
same
different
time,
things.
wanting to do 5 different things, but more importantly, knowing that a majority of them also just want to get into fights and kill things, right? So not having fights throws me off. Because
you can throw more bears at me if you want.
I
I don't mind fights. Like,
I know, but not having fights throws me off personally, because it's like, that is like a sign of like progress in most D&D campaigns. When you start fighting things, there's usually a reason, because you're making progress.
Yeah.
And that's how that usually works. But for you, it's like the investigating and the talking and the messing around with this and messing with that and doing that, and it makes it a lot more like you're making progress, story progress, and you're not having to go fight and murder things, and it's very interesting. But I think that's all I have to really say about that. I also, just a long pause, just my brain just flatlined.
It's okay. I think for the next video that I'm because I'm still editing the second episode, I'm gonna be like, sorry, we say and but like a lot. We think. You should be glad I'm editing out the 30-second silent pause.
You should edit out that part, though. Especially when it's really bad, when I'm like,
No, I edited that out. Don't worry now. If it's to the point where I'm idly, like, because I'm usually, like, drawing the thumbnail, or, like, just drawing in general, or, like, doing something. If I'm like, why the fuck have we been quiet for so long? I edit it out. I'm like, why has that been like that?
Lovely. One thing I do like about this concept is, if anyone does listen to it, it is the most, besides removing the 30-second pauses, it is the raw feeling of, like, this is what a DM with zero preparation and a player who is willing to, like, roleplay and work with that can achieve together, and you don't need to spend your hours and hours planning out a session as a DM. Like,
this is pretty fun. I thought that it would get, like, awkward. Not awkward, but, like, I don't want to say boring, but like, stale, or like, kind of like...
Daniel gives you mission, you go do mission, you come back,
yeah, kind of mindless like that. But this is really fun. I don't feel like you could do a duet with just, like, anybody, though.
I mean, well, of course, it comes back to having, like, there are such things as good D&D players and bad D&D players. There are definitely good DMs and bad DMs, and at a duet, in a normal setting, it's 50% DM and 50% all of the other players combined, generally. So if you have 4 players, each player is math, like 12.5% of the game. And so whether they're good or bad means less. And for a DM, if your DM's bad, everything's just going to fall apart. It's just going to happen. If your DM is a mess, then the game's going to run a mess. If you're Christy, the fucking Tomb of Annihilation exists, where it is designed to kill your players. Yes. Gary Gygax has rules that are stating, like, if your players try to be smart and do this thing, kill them. That's not a joke! There are
Stupid bitch. This is when my son doesn't love me.
There is a massive section in several of his D&D books whenever you have, like, he has a whole section on spells. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole section of, like, nip it in the bud. When your players start trying to do stupid shit with spells that either is going to ruin your game, or you just really don't like, or are examples of this, just fucking straight up just shut it down. Don't allow it to happen. And some of them are really mean, where it's like...
Kill your player.
If your player tries to fly in this kind of environment, they take damage because... Just because they're trying to fly over poison, they don't realize about how poison density and vortexes work. So as they're flying over it, they're actually whipping the poison up into their space. So they're not flying over it, they're actually sucking the poison up. And, like, there's really, like, evil things like that.
Yeah.
And, like, Gary
This is a man who fireballed his son, so...
made his son fireball himself.
Yeah.
Because, well, what you don't realize is how volume works, son. The ceiling...
He grew up real fast right there.
The ceiling's too low, so the fire's gonna backfire
Did
at
Gary
you.
Gygax die of old age, or... or by his son's hand?
I have no clue, but that's why certain spells exist, is because the son got really fucking angry at fireballing his team. One of them's like
because his son wanted to have fun.
I don't know his character's name, but it's like, we're gonna say Macintosh. It's like Macintosh's Magnificent Meteors, which is basically you cast a spell, you get 5 meteors, and then on your turn you can use a bonus action to fire them, and they're basically mini fireballs. And the entire reason why that spell was invented was because the son was sick and tired of casting the one AoE fire spell that his dad gave him, which is Fireball. And whenever he did it, it would burn him and his own fucking team. So he's like, fuck it, I want a tiny version. Can my character research making a tiny version? And Dad said, sure. And he went through the whole process of making that spell. Antagonistic is when the DM can, quote, quote, win Dungeons and Dragons.
You're all dead! I win!
Yeah, exactly. And again, the reason why antagonistic DMs aren't fun or interesting is because it is like playing a video game and having one person put on I'm invincible and then everyone else fighting, and then this invincible guy's just coming around killing all of you. It's like, of course you're gonna fucking win.
Yeah.
The
you have 50 fucking books to win with. That you have all.
And
that.
you don't even need all of them. You could the monster manual alone. We're level 5. You could just pick something. Challenge rating 12, and we lose.
Just do a lot of rats.
Or swarms of rats. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's super lame and super boring. The only time an antagonistic DM can be interesting is if the antagonistic DM is not antagonistic to the point where they're like, I want to win D&D by killing all of you, but it's more like, I want to see within the bounds of making the game fair how I can fuck with the players. If I take all of these creatures, which with a combined challenge rating it says should be a medium encounter, if I intelligently use my chess pieces, can I make a challenge for my party? That is how you make an antagonistic DM interesting, but in that case, the antagonistic DM is putting limits on themselves. And again, it comes back to rules making things interesting. If the DM goes, I'm not allowed to make a deadly encounter and then play super chess. I'm allowed to play super chess if I'm making a hard or medium encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, like, synergize different monster abilities and, like, oh, and if I get them to go first, then I can tag chain this and and it'll lower the spell casting and do the, like, that's the kind of stuff where antagonistic DMs could be interesting, but they're interesting for a certain type of player, and that is the power gamer.
Yes. Where
the power gamer is now looking for challenges that these powerful builds get to stomp over.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, back to my analogy of DM is 50% and everything else. When you come to a duet, the issue is if either the DM or the player is bad, half of the game is bad.
Yeah.
And it's very noticeable. Same thing with having a bad DM. If you have a bad DM with a normal party size, people are going to start to notice things. Except for certain types of DMs. Favoritism DMs, who are like, it's okay, my special snowflake. Nothing ever targets you. Instead, they all hit the other players. I know you're the most important member of the team to be hitting because you're casting Fireball every turn, but everyone else is going to get hit. What's that? You think it's unfair that sorcerers can't cast Fireball twice per round? It's okay. You can do that. It's okay. Oh, what's that? You think you need more spell slots? Here's some magic items to give you some more spells. Oh, that's okay. And everyone else is going to feel like shit, right?
Yeah.
And the game's going to be dog shit for everyone except for that one player. But in general, if your DM is shit, it's going to be shit for everyone. And again, different DM styles match up different players and all that jazz. But when you have the players be bad, if you have one bad player, it all depends on how bad they are. if they're bad enough that they're disruptive and annoying, and I don't know, maybe choose to not fight with the team and turn their back on them in the middle of a fight versus several monks. Oh, who could call them bad? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you might run into problems where it's like one player is so bad, you know, one bad apple ruins the bunch. But if you just have one bad player, if we even think back to our campaign where we had 5 players and 2 of them were disruptive or bad, one of them was here and there. With the 2 good players and a good DM, I'm jacking myself off here. Good DM.
I like how you DM. I feel like
About
you
a
toot
six-
your horn.
That's about a 60-65%.
The only time I'm like, oh my god, Daniel's puzzles.
Oh, yeah,
Because
I'm bad
I
at
feel
that.
like it's equal parts of sometimes you do just make them really hard, and then sometimes I'm just mad because it was so easy. But it's up to debate.
Trust me, the upcoming puzzle is Baby's first puzzle.
No, don't say that because I'm not gonna get it. And then you and Demos are gonna be calling me a fucking. I don't want Demos to help me. I want him to be like, I'm gonna see if he can get this stuff.
Or do you want him to be like, you know, you could just like, okay, alright.
I can do this.
The
Demos,
blue.
get this. Stop.
Alright.
You're messing up my train of thought.
72. Anyways.
There's not even numbers.
Oh, good, you know that part. Okay, making sure. Because you were counting earlier, so I was just making alright.
I was counting how much patience I had left. Once it hit 0, I'm out. I'm just letting them find me.
I'll take the execution. It's better than this. But yeah, so again, in a duet, one bad player becomes a problem. But the good news about being a duet is that even if the player's bad, if your DM's good enough, quote, quote, they can tailor the problem.
To the badness.
Well,
They can bring the bar down.
yeah, but again, there's different kinds of badness. There is bad, in which, like, they don't power game, I guess, and, like, they're super weak and they choose stupid, weird niche things. But if you know your player's gonna be stupid, then don't put them against normal fights. Be like, normally you could take 2 goblins. I'm gonna put you against a single rat.
You're a little special,
Yeah.
so you get a lobster.
Exactly. And again, you could tailor it, and there's other things where it's like, some players are problematic because they never want to leave a town and they just want to socialize. Well,
Like
guess-
Rie.
Yeah, but guess what? You could tailor the game and make the game completely within this one town where it's nothing but socialization and the very occasional fight when it has to be done. And you can tailor your experience to that. But yeah, anyways. So, I am also too surprised at how smooth this is going. I do feel... No, you said fighting's fine, so I'm gonna throw more fights at you. You can get fucked, bitch.
I mean, no, I'm fine with combat. Like, I feel like I've grown as a person because that kobold and that bear ran away, and I was not mad at all. I was like, this is fine. This
They
is okay.
will return.
Can they be the reoccurring villain?
you guessed.
It comes back and he knows one new spell.
And
each
he's gonna
time.
come back to steal things from you now.
No, I can't have competition.
He's been taking the robes, but he saw all the shinies you had.
Oh no! You can't
That-
get away, little kobold. You can't use them.
And now you have that pipe. Ooh.
No, it's my pipe. He doesn't even know what to smoke it with. She gets a gun.
And then he takes that.
No, he's got a gun.
The bear just the bullet and just eats it.
Bears can take bullets, right?
It depends on the caliber. I'm pretty sure it's like shotgun slugs is where they actually start getting hurt. And
yeah, when
rifle
you have to
rounds,
get up
probably.
in bear distance to shoot it.
But that's meh. If you're firing a slug, it might as well be like a sniper rifle.
Oh. Wait, you said highlight, low light. Well, did you give a low light? What was your highlight?
I didn't give a highlight because we were just talking about normal. You were like, you don't have to give me a 9, and we started talking. And you're
Oh,
like,
okay. Well,
like-
what was
you're
your
like-
highlight, low light?
Highlight. Well, anyways, the full rating of the session. I'm surprised it's going so smoothly. I'm glad it's going so smoothly. We're getting good RP moments. Again, this isn't blaming you, but like, you're not stalling. You know, you have a mission. You're going on the mission. You're not
When's motivated, baby?
caffeinated. Yeah. Yes. But it's like, you're taking the motive I gave you, you're going with it. It's not like you have a choice because you do have potentially a snake bounty hunter coming to kill you, and I don't think you want your character to die.
Yeah.
And like, you're hanging out with the characters, you're interacting with the characters, and it's just generally nice. Then you have, like being intrigued in the little things that I said that don't matter. You're interacting with the flavor bits that I didn't intend for you to actually directly interact with, which is build on things and make things more interesting and fuck around, which is always anxiety inducing because I'm like, I want to make things interesting, and I'm like, what if I don't make them interesting enough kind of deal, which, as you can tell by me giving them like sapphire flower circlets, I'm really trying to make them kind of interesting and different.
He's a bottom. That's also what I've gotten from him.
Yes, ma'am. But it's like, I said to make the town a little bit more interesting, that is the ley line stuff and the church stuff, and sure, technically you could argue that those are like plot hooks and stuff for you to latch onto, but I don't usually expect players to latch onto them because of my experience with our last group of players and stuff.
They were stupid, dude.
Where I'm like, yeah, here's a dead ghost woman who used to be a hunter who you guys saw, and she talked to you, and she was super nice to you, and she gave you directions, and was like, yeah, she's been dead for several years, and you guys were like, we could get to that later, and then just never came back to it. That is like,
I always had it written down, Daniel.
and that's fair. And again, like, I'm glad. And there are things that I'm very like used to you guys kind of giving up on, or just expecting me to drop the shit into your lap. And I feel like in most things when it comes to D&D, it should be Dungeon Master poses interesting thing, or interesting thing forces itself into your way, right? And if you as a player group find that thing interesting enough, it should be on the players to then pursue it more. For example, Rainbow Breath, the kobold who could breathe multi-element fire. That was the interesting plot hook of the dragon cult stuff that was going on. That you guys were supposed to try and more deeply hunt down and go deeper into and all that stuff, but you guys never did.
I always thought that Austin would have had a...
Me too! And it's like, but again, it's like that I drop it in your face. You guys were forced to go deal with this thing because the queen asked you to, and so that was me forcing you into this encounter with this interesting thing. And then if the group found the thing interesting enough, you all should have been actively pursuing a little more information. And if you guys did that, then that would lead you to more, and that would allow me to drop more shit in your lap that I know you guys would go after. But that usually didn't happen. It's one of those things where people talk about there is a dichotomy of like what players say they want and what they actually want. Most people believe that they want a sandbox. Oh, I don't want to feel like I'm being railroaded on some quest. I want to be in a living, breathing world that I get to explore and do whatever I wanted. And then you're like, oh,
and then you're like, there you go. And they're like,
what do I do? And you're like, that was so...
And that's why I always tell you, you can railroad me.
No, exactly. And then, players always say they don't want to be railroaded. And what most people have come to the consensus of is people don't want to see that they're being railroaded. They're okay with the big glowing neon sign that says go that way, and they're good with the convenient treaded path through the forest that you can see the dirt is people have walked through here before. You should go that way. Players seem to be okay with that, but once you put them on obvious rails, that's when they get hey, wait a minute, this is not, you're making me do this kind of stuff. I personally really like the sandbox way of doing things. The way I think most D&D would be better done is put your players on a railroad at the beginning. Force them into a quest that forces them to do things and interact with the world. And then as they interact with the world and do things, that's when you get to drop in the quote-quote optional sandboxy stuff of here's an interesting cleric-y thing you could investigate, here's an interesting dragon-y thing you could investigate, here's something involving giants, ghosts, zombies, paladin, sorcerer, fighter, here's a monk competition, here's this, here's that. And then the railroad section is just to kind of get the players on a track to interact with stuff. And then once that railroad is over, then they're left in the sandbox with a ton of hooks and threads that they get to choose which one is the most interesting to follow, and from there you let them do their thing. I think that's probably the best way to go about it, and that's sort of what I'm doing here. I'm dropping a bunch of interesting plot stuff. I forced you to get a cursed item that would force you to go on this quest.
I thought it was nice that we swapped the reason for the cursed item
to be the box instead of the gem.
Yeah, so that way I have.
That way you can have Robit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now that's sort of the gist of what I'm trying. Like I'm that is my method, which is railroad the players at the beginning a little bit. Give them a main quest to follow. Give them a reason. They're in debt. They need to get out of it, so they have to go do this quest. They need to go do this quest with this cursed item, and someone's trying to kill them. Their friend went missing. Something they care about went missing. Blackmail, whatever. Give them force a reason onto them to go do something, to interact with the world more, to get interested into things, to go do things. I think that's my methodology, and I'm glad that it's working here. But anyway, so I guess that's like generally how I really like the session is you were interacting with stuff. Sure, the reason for interacting with the churches was to sell an item so you can make money to get a pint.
I had to know what's up, Daniel, and I still don't know, and it's great.
No, but again, had you not had the talisman to sell, would you have been still gone to the churches?
Yes.
Okay, and again, that's good for me. I like that. That's good. And I'm glad that that's going on. My highlight would probably be I like making the interesting characters. My biggest fear though is I'm gonna repeat characters because there's archetypes I really like.
Yeah.
I really like the mafia.
There's archetypes I really like.
I like the mafia boss.
Yeah.
I do like the snarky, dutiful, or like scatterbrained smart person. You know, I like those things. The Arcris, Jack, the alchemist boy that you guys kidnapped. Not kidnapped.
I forget his name.
We have it somewhere. We
like to say adopted.
Garen
here.
will have it.
Yeah.
We know Garen will know that note. But it's like those are the archetypes I really like, and I'm always like anxious of like constantly putting the same characters.
No, it's
in.
fine. I love.
Which is why anytime you guys find a devil, it's probably Bark. It's probably just gonna be Bark.
Yeah, like the last time it was just Bark. That's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every time you guys have met a devil that you've talked to, it's been Bark. It's never not been.
I think that's a nice little thing to put in each campaign.
Anyway, so yeah, it's like my highlight would just be the smoothness of the campaign so far. Of course, rough at the beginning, but what campaign isn't? Like on our first session, there's a lot of pausing, a lot of waiting, all that jazz. The heist went well, you played along, you listened to Vintagram's talks, you interacted with the exhibits.
I watched him be getting caffeinated.
Yep, you gave someone horrible diarrhea. Snuck in, interacted with Tux. I saw on your face the general, like, when I had Falcon reveal that who Tux was, and you got played. You're like, I got played.
I got played.
And, you know, all of that stuff is very...
They'll never take me to jail.
And then the smoothness from there to, well, here's what I have to do, I'm gonna go do it, and then you go do it, and then, like, combat's over, everything's cool, you being snippy and talking to Demos, you choose, like, this is something I would not expect from but any member out of all of our D&D groups, in general, is someone being like, what's the land here like? And I'm being like, well, nature check.
Well, the farm was there, so
but again, that's not something that other players that we have played with would normally do. We know one player would only give a shit about the NPCs. What does this NPC look like? What do they sound like? Oh, how friendly are they? Oh, I want to be their best friend. We know that. We know how tough do these NPCs?
Could I take this NPC on in a fight with barehanded?
Can I fight them? And then we know another one who would be like, oh, Daniel doesn't give me...
Can I sleight of hand?
Can I sleight of hand? By the way, Daniel doesn't let me do anything that's interesting. Where was I? Oh my god, I'm blinking. But yeah, so like, then you get into this fight and go about it, and then again, interacting with just random things in the environment that I wasn't ready for, and I got to like, world build off the seat of my pants, and... Is
the Bellhaven standard? That was my favorite question.
Yes, sir. and then wanting to ride the chicken, and then me getting to show you.
Damn, there's no way that you could be
No,
like,
I know, but
the
then-
chicken has a saddle next to it and not expect me.
No, I know, but then me getting to show you the giant bugs, and you'd be like, "There's giant bugs," and like that becoming an interesting point, and then me talking about the town being awkwardly normal and pristine.
This town is giving me
And then the mayor.
the normal album. What was a normal album kind of vibe?
When is someone just gonna come out screaming? "Dur, dur, 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 dur."
Someone, if I stay in this town long enough, someone will have a psychotic break.
Will Wood himself comes out. But you know that part, and then like me getting to play my cliches. I do really like the halfling like mob boss energy, because
Kiss my ring.
anyone could have the big tough mob boss or the handsome beautiful like.
But you like the teeny
elf.
tiny.
But the teeny tiny like
I have the cards on the table right now.
the I may be short, I may be weak, but looks to muscle on the right, looks to muscle on the left, looks to all of the people in the room with sharp objects. Who's really in control here?
Yeah.
Kind of I love it. It's such a good vibe. And you know, cliches and archetypes are there for a reason because they're good.
And they're also there so you can have the opposite of them.
Yeah, so my highlight would just be generally you interacting with non-essentials. So that doesn't...
Can I get inspiration for spending 700 gold on that pipe?
Yeah, take 3.
Yay.
You definitely deserve 3 for being like, yeah, I'm gonna just spend all my money. I'm gonna spend an entire session selling things to get enough money to buy something that has no mechanical or helpful value. My character just wants it to look cool. As much as I made you work for it, I gave you the easy, no dice roll needed ways to get what you needed, you know? Sure, if you wanted more money from the halfling, you could have tried haggling, but...
But Mama says she gets what she wants, and Wynn's not about to, like...
Wynn's
Nah,
a mama's girl. She's not gonna fight with it.
She's like, oh, yes, ma'am.
But,
Oh, per?
but again, it's like, you could have tried haggling, you could have tried finding a seller to get more money, but I just offered you a solution.
I wanted the pipe right then and there.
Again,
there was nothing that was gonna stop me.
But again, like, I gave you the option, like, the issue with how D&D works is it always assumes that the players are going to be trying to make optimal choices.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to buy a magic item, I want to buy this that makes me stronger, I want to buy more powerful armor, I want to buy a better weapon, I want to buy, you know...
I have a rapier and a short bow, that's all I
Exactly.
need.
I want to buy health potions, I want to buy this, like, all things that will mechanically benefit you. But then when you're like, I want to buy a magic pipe that lets me smoke dragons, and the game's like, well, technically it's a magic item, and technically it's equivalent to, so it's going to cost you at least 150 gold pieces. Even though your character's level 1, but you just want it for the aesthetic of your character smoking opium out of a fucking pipe, like a badass as they go about doing their business. Like, to make your character be cool, quote, quote, sure, it should require you get the right stuff and pay the money so that way you have the badass super weapons and stuff like that. But if I want to just say my basic-ass rapier because my character in backstory was rich is gold-plated with, like, a
platinum...
A fucking platinum blade,
yeah.
but it has all the same statistics of a normal sword. Let me, you know? If I want to have my character smoke out of a fucking obsidian pipe because fuck you, I'm rich, right? And I'll cut my lips on it, I don't care how sharp it is, right?
Beauty's pain.
Exactly. Sometimes expensive things are worse. If I want my character to be like that, let him. Of course, if you, have the caveat of like, yeah, you can have an emerald crack pipe to smoke out of, but you can't sell it for any real value because of reason X, Y, or Z.
Because of the crack that's...
Whatever, you know. Just give me a reason why I can't sell that item, and like that's fine, you know. But it's like, anyways. But low light would be, I have to go to work tomorrow, so we can't play more. I think that would be my low light.
I'm sorry, baby.
And I'm not gonna get a lot of good sleep tonight because
I'm
it is
sorry.
5:30.
I'm sorry, baby.
Oh fuck. All right.
No.
Goodbye, everyone. Yay.
Kiss the mic. Oh, you got really close. Oh, it was really short. That's my kiss. I feel like I'm going insane.
Really?
Yeah, this is like it's like the psychotic break where everything makes sense, but I'm still going psycho. You know? I'm having this fever dream. Maybe you can help me with this. But I had this sudden, like, memory from, like, when I woke up or when I took a shower about, like, it's an open world game, mostly, I think. I feel like it's Dragon Age or maybe The Witcher. I forget. But you go to this town.
Fallout.
Is it Fallout where the people want to eat you?
Yes.
And they attack you?
Yep.
Oh.
Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3? One of the two.
I don't have New Vegas, so maybe Fallout 3.
There you go.
Okay, well, that solves it. I can stop. I can die easy now.
The good old Michael's treatment. Although, it used to be a day, right?
Michael's is 24 hours, and that's if they're being nice to you, because sometimes you'll call. I would have people do this to me as an employee. I'd be like, hi, this is Christy from the Corona store. I want to put something on hold for a customer that's on their way. And they'll be like, we're only holding it till the end of the night. And I'm like, well, our policy's 24 hours, so, you know, put it on hold. And they'll be like, well, we're only going to hold it until we're closed. And it's just like, okay, bitch. It's literally not.
It ain't that big a deal.
I don't know why most people who work have a stick up their ass unless it's like Walmart, you know? Or a grocery store. Like, bitch, you play with popsicle sticks all day, and I would know because I worked there for 6 years.
Yeah. Communal beans.
Not the public beans.
What's wrong with public beans, huh?
Daniel,
What?
public and beans don't go together.
And I could do a train if I remember how to do that. Yeah, so...
You're so talented, baby.
Shut the fuck up. You think she's not a nervous laugher? Her card declined.
I hope Zuri's doing okay. That must be the best, like, outcome. If I was ever to be reborn, I would wish I would be reborn as
A narcoleptic dog.
A narcoleptic dog.
My brother was telling me, like, Daniel, you should really get into this thing called the Adventure Zone. I'm really loving it. Back when I barely started dating you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
You
I was
never mentioned D&D to me, like, ever.
I love D&D. Christy, what male is going to be like, hello, female, that I wish to be in a relationship
Daniel, we met
with?
playing League of Legends. Are you joking?
Yeah, Christy, I was already feeling like I was pushing my luck with you, alright?
Aw.
I got League of Legends, and you were cute. I wasn't gonna be like, do you want to play D&D with me? Like,
Aw.